The following is a presentation of the Rowan Television Network.
Welcome to the Rowan Football Pregame Show. I'm Benny Pennell alongside my partners Chris Sharnagle and Pete Inarato. And guys, we have just an amazing matchup this Saturday in terms of football. The storylines, well, there's a lot of them.
There is a whole horde. My goodness gracious. I mean, Morrisville State is streaking very, very hard right now. They are 5-1, which is a shock, but it's going to be good. A good homecoming game. I'm excited.
Not a lot of people had Morrisville in this. They were called a dark horse before this, but Pete, I mean, coming into this game, anything could happen.
Yeah, Benny, it's really going to be an interesting matchup because Lamar Johnson really poses a threat, and nobody likes to play him. I mean, he's dynamic. He can do many things. And you think about it, you think this is going to be a defensive-laden game. The Rowan defense struggles against the pass, and Lamar loves to put the ball in the air, and he spreads it out to a lot of receivers. So with that said, it kind of puts some fear into me on that aspect, but I think that Rowan can come away with this win if they stick to their guns because, you know, Morrisville is a very beatable team.
Season so far for Rowan, they're 3-2, 2-0 in the conference. Morrisville 5-1, 3-0 in the conference. This game, Chris, has a ton of NJAC implications and NCAA applications.
Yes, it definitely does. The NJAC implications are if Morrisville State loses, Rowan pretty much has a clear shot for the NJAC title. Now, if Morrisville State actually wins this one and pulls out a bit of an upset, then they're pretty much they can get the conference. This is basically the conference up for grabs right here. This, in my opinion, will determine who will come away as the NJAC champion this year.
And it couldn't be a bigger game.
No, not at all, Benny. I mean, when you really break it down, Rowan is a lot different from last year. And when we retrace back a year, we remember that 41-21 thrashing that they suffered. They are 5-1 all time against Morrisville. However, last year I don't think you could put much stock into it because you have McCarty under center now, and you have a whole new dynamic put in place. And I think the team's got a lot more confidence. But at the same time, it still scares me because you did allow a lot of points to that club, and I'm just hoping that the defense is matured enough to the point where they can really, knock off some points. I mean, if you can only give up 21 to 24 points against the Morrisville team, I mean, you should be able to score enough to beat them. So you really have to hope that this defense shows up.
We'll talk more about Billy McCarty and this defense, which does have a big loss on the line in Josh Popper. But first, guys, give me two keys to the game apiece.
All right, 2 keys of the game. I'm going to say this for Rowan University. They need to run the football excessively because Morrisville State is not good against the run at all. So if Whit Marshland can just pound the rock, keep the ball out of McCarty's hands because I am not sold on his capabilities as a passer. But if you give it to your best player in Whit Marshland and let him run the rock, that can definitely tire out that defense and also keep Lamar Johnson off the field. The guy is dynamic. He has a 17 touchdown to 4 interception ratio. Are you kidding me? That's ridiculous. He's averaging on the ground, running the football. He's averaging 128 yards. Are you serious? He's basically playing Madden or NCAA college football on easy right now with Mike Vick. It's disgusting.
For those of you that play fantasy NJAC football, I assume the guy that won first in all of your drafts would be Lamar Johnson if that were to exist.
Bad choices.
Yeah. Well, Benny, I'm going to stay along the same lines because Chris brings up an interesting point about Lamar. He's obviously the key to the game. You really want to shut him down. The defense is going to have to get pressure on Lamar. Rush him out of the pocket. He'll pick you apart. I mean, you could play zone, you could play man-to-man, does not matter. He'll pick you apart. He'll find his receivers because he's got so many options. You really have to rush him out of the pocket, get pressure, and make him scramble and make quick decisions because turnovers is going to be the telling tale in this one. You really want to keep Lamar off the field and force him to throw balls in tight areas and really, possibly even you hit him hard enough, maybe fumble a few times because he does hold the ball very loosely.
Morrisville has fumbled 3 times in their last 2 NJAC games, Chris.
Yes, the other thing I was going to say was with Lamar Johnson, he's completing just barely under 60% of his passes. It's not great, but it's not horrible. It's still it's a good accuracy considering. I mean, what you've seen with our quarterback Bill McCarty. I mean, he's roughly around 50%, 52%. But the fact that Lamar Johnson is completing more passes. He's completing them. He has 790 yards throwing the football, so he can put up some numbers. But the thing is, they're mainly an option attack kind of offense. So Christian Pena is another guy you got to stop. I mean, he's averaging about 5 yards a carry. He's getting 68 yards a game. He's another, as I said, with that option offense, he could take it to the house as well.
And we were talking before we came on air, Benny. We were saying, they have a lot of receivers. They don't have a top receiver that you really have to shut down, but there's a lot of good players. And when you have a lot of good players, it's going to cause your defense to pay more attention to the middle of the field. And somebody like a Josh Powell, for example, the guy's got how many catches? About
31.
31 catches.
Yep.
So, that's not outstanding, but there's a lot of guys on the team that have that. Whereas you're going to have to drop a lot more guys in coverage to worry about that. So, with that said, it gives Lamar more time. And one of my keys to the game was getting pressure on Johnson. So is that rush going to come up the middle? Can you get it off the end? We don't really know, but it's going to be a really interesting matchup. That's why they put 41 points up there, because they are a dynamic offense.
Now we're going to get to our storylines real quick. First storyline coming into this game, homecoming, the esteem to it. Guys, I mean, it takes us back to our high school days practically.
Man, it makes me feel really old. Thanks. But no,
you are old.
Yeah, but the thing is, the homecoming. I know last year was a big game. I mean, I was on the broadcast with homecoming last year with playing Wesley, a nationally ranked team, and that was Bill McCarty's debut. Bill McCarty comes in and honestly plays a solid game. Doesn't throw the ball a lot, manages the game, throws a touchdown pass to Ed Eisenhart, and Rowan comes up with a W. And he led him to a 6-game win streak, so kudos to him on that. And that was his kind of coming out party to being starting quarterback. But the other thing with homecoming, that esteem, that if we lose this game, that's just going to let down an entire campus. There's a lot riding on Rowan right now.
Chris, you raise an interesting point. That was the beginning of McCarty. And I digress here, but there's been a lot of heat around the kid, and he's 9-3 since becoming the starting quarterback for Rowan. Really, take some heat off of this kid. He's 9-3. He's getting the job done, and it really started last season at homecoming. So here is somewhat of the reunion. I think Rowan's going to come out with a lot of energy. McCarty's going to come out with a lot of energy because he remembers what happened when he finally got that opportunity. So I really think that Rowan has a different feel about them. I really think they're going to be able to pull this one out. It's just a matter of, my God, Morrisville is such a tough opponent. But the nostalgia of homecoming, like you said, Benny, you can't beat it. You really can't.
No, you can't. And talking about McCarty real quick before we get to our next storyline, 9-3, as you said, undefeated in the NJAC. Everyone forgets that. Undefeated in the NJAC, and those 3 losses, top 25 opponents.
True, but the thing is, if you put the game in his hands where you have to throw the football, I am a gambling man. I would not put my money on McCarty to get him down from a deficit of 21-0. I could not do it and feel like I have a chance of winning that bet. I don't feel it. I mean, the kid is good. He has a 9-3 record. I will give him that. Undefeated in the NJAC, which is hard to do, especially against SUNY Cortland. William Patterson has a dangerous team. Montclair is another team that plays us hard. They play Rowan real rough, but he's done well. But he's not a quarterback where you can say, okay, the game's on the line, give it to the kid, let him run, let him do it.
I somewhat agree with you, and then I somewhat disagree with you, Chris, because think about it. Even though when you're backed up and you need McCarty to throw the football, you have a little bit of pressure. But at the same time, their scheme and their system is really built off of his strengths. I mean, those short passes. I mean, he gets the job done when you have to. And what can you say? The guy has not thrown an interception since week 1, right?
Yep, since the Widener game. Yes.
So I mean, I really don't have that much fear putting the ball in the air with McCarty. I think that he's matured. I mean, listen, everybody gets off to a slow start sometime. I mean, he's only played 12 games in his career as a senior, and I really think he's taking the next step now that we're reaching the double digits with games played in his career. I don't have a lot of fear, as far as throwing the ball at all.
All this talk about winning really quick brings me up to my next storyline.
Yes.
Coach Accorsi, potentially 100 wins, got his 99th against William Patterson last Saturday.
Yes. Let's go with this. The fact that Coach Jay Accorsi, scheduled a tough game, and it's technically could be his 100th. And it's a homecoming game. It's a huge deal. And he's like, no, we're not going to take an easy team. We're not going to take a walk-in-the-park JV-type squad. We're going to take a team that is dangerous, explosive, and we're going to put them in front of a huge crowd with not only just current students but alumni, people who have gone here the whole nine, and let's put on a show and let's play some Rowan football kind of deal. And the fact that he has that confidence in his team, it speaks volumes about not just his mentality, but just Coach Accorsi in general. He's a tough guy, and he's gonna will his team to get it done.
13 seasons as the Rowan coach, and this is the second straight year he schedules a very tough homecoming game.
Where would the school be without Jay Accorsi? I mean, really think about it. 99-37. He's only suffered one losing season. He's done a remarkable job, and you really cannot put enough stock into a guy like him because he knows what he's doing. He's a football mind. And without Accorsi, I'll tell you right now, Rowan is nowhere near where they are, because you can make the argument of, do they have enough impact players? Is their quarterback a franchise-type quarterback for a college? Throw all that out the window. He knows what plays to call at the right time. He gets the job done. I mean, you really cannot say enough about the guy. 99 wins. He could possibly get 100 wins. And he is going to get 100 wins, but is it going to happen this homecoming? I don't know. I think it will. But really, the job that he's done is remarkable.
Now, the implications of this game. This is such a big game. Again, we talked about homecoming. Now we have to talk about the NJAC implications and the NCAA implications if Rowan loses this game.
True, because if Rowan does lose this game, I really think that the NCAA tournament thing is not going to happen for him. Or if it does, it's a long shot. Especially if they get blown out. If they get blown out, if Rowan loses by a huge margin like they did last year, 20 points is a nice size margin of, you can almost put it this way. When you're playing a game, you put the sticks down if you're losing by 20. But the fact is in the NJAC itself, if Morrisville State wins, they're pretty much going to run with it. I firmly believe they can run with it and not have to worry about anybody else, because Keene is very hit and miss. William Patterson, they may be dangerous, but they don't play up to their potential. They haven't for I'll say at least 7 years. And SUNY Cortland, what happened there? They used to be the dynamo team since coming into the NJAC. This year, they're just kind of phoning it in. They're not even there. It's like they're a shell of their former self. So Rowan and Montclair State are probably the two you could say, but if Morrisville State can really punch Rowan in the face, this could be a whole different ballgame here.
When was the last time Rowan won the NJAC outright? 2004?
Oh, man.
10 years.
So they really are due, and they got a chip on their shoulder. These guys, most of the guys were not around for that. However, the school was really dying for something like that to happen. And I think the players know that. I really think that even though they probably don't look that much into it, they know that this is an opportunity for them to make some history. And with that said, I think that adds a little bit of an extra motivation. I never played football, so I don't know. When you toe the gridiron, what's going to happen? But I would think it gives them some extra motivation. And with that said, this team is built right now to do that, and they have the opportunity. I don't really think they're going to let it slip away, Benny.
Last year, Rowan, they won the NJAC. They did tie Brockport, the head-to-head matchup, though they beat Brockport. So people kind of came away from that saying they won it outright. They actually essentially didn't. Of course, the year before, 2013 or 2012, I should say, they make it to the NCAA tournament. So that just speaks volumes to how, of course, he's gone and the implications of this game. And guys, give me 3 players to watch apiece on both sides of the ball.
3 players to watch. I'm going to go with Tyler Jenkins for Rowan.
Linebacker.
The linebacker. The kid is amazingly good. He is a sideline-to-sideline player. He is an animal in cleats. The kid is just nasty. He makes big plays for that defense. Stepping up in Dominic Caruso's spot in a way as like a defensive leader. I would also say Whit Marcelin. You got to go with Whit Marcelin. The guy, he's the best guy on the offense. Like he's the feature back. You give him the rock, he's going to do things. The kid is amazingly good. And I will say, I'm going to go with Bill McCarty as well. He's another guy you got to watch, because if they go down, if Rowan gets down by a margin of points, they're going to throw the football, and he needs to display a better judgment, a little more arm strength than he has than in the Widener game. With the Widener game, he noodle-armed it. He tried the force passes that weren't there, and 6 picks later, Rowan lost. But if he can be smart with the football, make his reads and do what he has to do and get the ball in his playmakers' hands like Warren Oliver and, like I said, Whit Marcelin, they can do well.
Benny, when it comes to that, as far as Morrisville, as far as they go, there's not one specific player. I mean, we all know about Lamar, but a guy like Josh Powell, for example, like I said, he's one of those stingy receivers. They got a lot of those types of guys who's going to have maybe 5-6 catches possibly. I think Josh Powell could have a big game. But as far as Rowan goes, you look at a guy like Kirk Kinget, who can come up big on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, like I said, turnovers is going to be a key point here. And if you want turnovers to occur, there's no better guy to pick one of those up than Kinget. What does he have, like 3 picks this year?
3 picks, 2 last week,
yeah. So he's a guy that I really look towards to make an impact. And then my final guy is Dante Tobler, somebody that's kind of under the radar. But you might see him in the red zone a little bit. He could have a touchdown or two because I think Rowan's going to want to throw some different packages out there to spread the ball around and throw some different names because I think Morrisville has their eyes set on a few guys, some top guys like you mentioned, and Tobler could be one of those guys. So I just have this eerie feel that he could potentially break out and have a decent game.
I'll say the one guy that I think that is going to be really important in this game is Chris Alvarez. Pass rush, he's leading pass rusher in Morrisville, of course. Their pass blocking isn't that good. They've allowed 11 sacks this year. Guys, I'd love to talk more football about you. We have to get ready for the game. Kickoff in just a little bit. Once again, thank you very much for joining myself, Benny Pinella, Chris Jarnagle, and Petey Naurato on Rowan Football pregame show. We'll be sending you Props Football your way in just a little bit. Don't go anywhere.
Taking into account the Euclidean theory of whole numbers, one can see a rationalization between the numbers themselves and the entity upon which the transvectoring factors occur. That is not to say that the transgental factoring is a factor of 1, but rather a sublimation of the factor of 1. Needless to say, this will be on the exam.
Thanks, dude. See you tomorrow.
Jimmy John. Order online at jimmyjohns.com.
Hi, I'm Janet Napolitano, Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security.
Hi, I'm Mark Emmert, President of the NCAA.
Homeland Security is a team effort, and it starts with individuals and communities around our country.
That's why the NCAA is partnering with DHS to help keep our communities safe. If you see something suspicious on your way into the arena or at the game, say something to local authorities to make it right.
We all have a role to play. Report suspicious activity to local law enforcement.
Thank you for doing your part to help keep our communities safe, and enjoy the game.
Don't worry, 74 people were picked before me in the NFL draft.
To fight childhood obesity, United Way and the NFL are helping kids play at least 60 minutes a day.
Okay, time for the team obstacle course. Yay!
What this place needs is more healthy kids. To get involved or donate, go to unitedway.org/play60.
Now I get it.
Homecoming weekend, a time of tradition, unity, and pride. Nothing caps off a week full of these values than Rowan football, and boy, what a game it will be. The Profs of Rowan University play host to the streaking Morrisville Mustangs in a high-octane NJAC matchup coming up next on RTN 5. After a week of hyping up homecoming and everything that it is, the values, the traditions, everything Rowan University, we're set for one of the biggest matchups of the season. The 5-1, 3-0 in the NJAC Morrisville Mustangs roll into a pumped-up Richard Wacker Stadium and everything homecoming to take on the Rowan Profs, 3-2, 2-0 in the NJAC. Benny Pinella here alongside my partner, Steven Rodriguez, Maria Brasco on the sidelines. Steve, before we even get into this game, the storylines going into this were just so juicy.
Oh, absolutely. Coming into this game, Coach Accorsi is on his 99th win. Not only is homecoming coming into this, but he could potentially get his 100th win going into first place of the NJAC. It's incredible.
Now, of course, the Profs do win this. We have to watch that Montclair State game. Of course, they are playing TC&J, a team that isn't up to the quality of a lot of the teams that Montclair has played so far, but nonetheless, it is going to be a tough game for both teams. But really, the tough game is right now. Rowan taking on a Morrisville Mustangs team that, going into this, the top player clearly is Lamar Johnson.
Oh, absolutely. Just going out to the field, number 7 stands out on this Morrisville sideline. What you have to pay attention to, though, is this Morrisville defense. It can't go unsaid that the Morrisville defense is first in yards per game and pass efficiency throughout the NJAG. Rowan's offense is going to need to develop in order to generate some points in a close game like this.
Mere moments away from kickoff, and you're right, Tino. This is the top running attack for Rowan, going up a run defense that's not as good, but a pass defense that's very good. Morrisville's defense cannot be understated. However, it's the offense. The top offense in the NJAC going up against one of the best defenses. Folks, if you're hardcore football fans, casual football fans, or just want to get into football, this is the game you have to watch. It is David versus Goliath. It is the immovable object versus the unbeatable force. It is two components of football, two teams that have such a great program
what you have
coming together, and really a Morrisville team that has surprised everyone, a Rowan team that has been there before and knows what it takes to get back to the top. Morrisville, as we said, they're off to their best start in team history.
Oh, absolutely. Morrisville's best start in team history. They're 5-1 overall, 3-0 in the NJAG since joining the NJAG in 2008. They've never won this division, let alone finishing 3-7 last year. This is a complete program turnaround, can I say so, Benny? I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how hard they come out and want to win this conference after today's game.
Kickoff is getting set. And it looks like they will move, or excuse me, they lined up on the wrong side of the field. So an inauspicious start to the game as the teams line up on the wrong side of the field. Let's talk about the head coaching matchup. Jay Accorsi, of course, we said, 99 wins, taking on a rather inexperienced coach in Kurt Fitzpatrick of Morrisville State, but really the story goes to Jay Accorsi.
Oh, absolutely. Jay Accorsi coming into this game likes to schedule tougher games on homecoming. Some would say it's a little bit out of the ordinary, but I think it's actually pretty interesting. You have all this momentum coming into homecoming. You have all the morale throughout the week on campus. It only makes sense to put your toughest game, the toughest competition you have, up against your guns when you have all the support.
The Profs donning all gold jerseys, brown helmets, pink for breast cancer awareness. Morrisville, white, all white jerseys with ball roll off the tee. All white jerseys with green trimming, white helmets. Neon green socks for some players, and of course the pink undershirts, wristbands, ankle tape. Some players even wearing socks. It's Breast Cancer Awareness Month and people doing their part to show their support.
Fans are anxious to get this one going, huh, Benny?
Everyone's fired up here in Richard Wacker Stadium. Here's the kick. Dietrichson with the kick, and this game is officially underway as the ball will sail out of bounds. Dietrichson was really fired up there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's going to be interesting to see how the Rowan defense comes out on this series, but they need to set the tone. They have to slow down this #1 no-huddle offense that Morrisville is going to bring forward. If they don't, they're going to be on roller skates all game long, and it can get ugly early.
Morrisville's past standing since joining the NJAC, they joined in 2008. They finished 1-9 overall, 0-9 in the NJAC. In 2009, they went 1-9. Their lone win coming in the NJAC, their NJAC record was 1-8. 2-7 in the NJAC in 2010, finishing with the 2-8 record. 2011, another 1-9 season, 1-8 in the NJAC. 2012, 1-7, 1-9 in the NJAC. Of course, last year, 2-5 in the NJAC, 3-7 overall for an overall record of 2-42 in the NJAC play. But this year has been the difference maker. Lamar Johnson over the middle. It is caught by number 15, Anthony Gray, who will start this Morrisville offense headed by the dynamic, almost Michael Vick-like Lamar Johnson, running back Christian Pena, wide receivers Anthony Mella, Anthony Gray, and Josh Powell. Another quick snap here, a handoff to Pena up the middle, and he'll get the first and then some. The line rolls like this from left to right. Ryan Mogeson, the tackle. Tyler Cowley, the left guard. Adrian Cabrera, the center. Kenny Mayron is the right guard. And Farhad Johnson's the right tackle. And rounding things out, the tight end, Dennis Scherer. Johnson in the shotgun. We'll get you the Rowan defense momentarily. Another quick game. Fakes the handoff. He'll take it himself up the middle, and he'll be brought down by number 3, Bobby Barberi, and that's where we'll start this Rowan defense. Defensive end, there's been a little bit of a change. Will Flake not starting. They're going with the smaller Sean Borkowski. He'll kind of work as the guy that'll spy Lamar Johnson. Sebastian Joka is the defensive tackle. Anthony Rizzolo, same. Chris Alvarez, the defensive end. Linebackers, Vinny Simone, Darren Dungy, Tyler Jenkins, so we'll get to him and his impact on this defense. Johnson in the shotgun, Payne to his right. He'll go back to pass, scanning the field, looking, he throws, and it is caught, juggled, but caught and brought down by number 2, Josh Powell. So they're moving the ball fairly well. Defensive backs, Jared Sanchez starting over Dexter Anderson, Eddie Davis, Rashad Adams, and Kurt Kingett.
Right now, Morrisville's getting anything they want, Benny. They want to move the ball inside the tackles, make Lamar Johnson get on the outside. He's 3rd in the end jack in rushing. They want him to run the ball, but they also want him to pass the ball. It's going to be interesting to see what the defense could do to stop this inside run game.
Handoff up the middle to Christian Pena. Another big run here, and early on we're seeing a good, steady mix of Morrisville's running and passing game. We talk about the passing game. They rank the top in the NJAC in terms of passing. It's really their rushing game that's up there as well. 2nd in the NJAC behind this Rowan rushing attack. Johnson in the shotgun. Pink socks. Pink cleats, goes back to pass, scan the field, throws, caught, wide open on the sidelines is number 15, Anthony Gray. Prof's defensive backs have to do a better job of locking down on the outsides.
Well, absolutely. I mean, other than that was a great tackle. They need to bring pressure from the outsides. If you're going to give Lamar Johnson all the time in the world, he's going to do exactly what he's doing right now. Keep you on your back heels, drive down the field, and score some points. You have to generate pressure up front, especially within that front 7.
Numbers to back up Lamar Johnson. Handoff to Christian Pena up the middle. Another 5-yard gain. Numbers to back up Lamar Johnson's play. He's averaging 250 yards passing, and he's the team's leading rusher, averaging 100 yards per game, totaling up to almost 600 yards rushing and almost 1,500 yards passing. He's accounted for 24 touchdowns, 17 passing, 7 rushing, and they've only played 6 games. Leads the NJAC in offense. Fake handoff, will throw once again off the fingertips of Anthony Gray. So it'll be 3rd down and 7.
Don't be surprised to see Lamar Johnson use his feet here a little bit. He had a carry early on in this series, but don't be surprised on a big game like this, a set run play, bring everyone outside, open up the middle of the field, and get him the first down.
Stadium is packed, as it was opening day. Johnson will go back to pass, scanning the field, looking. He throws another wide open receiver, number 14, Anthony Mello. And really, it's the 3 starters that get the brunt of the work. Seldom do they go to their backup guys, but when they do, it's Marcus Jackson Connor and Jordan Charbonneau. Once again in the shotgun. Running quick plays, almost a Philadelphia Eagles-style offense. Runs to the outside. He'll be brought down by a plethora of props for no gain.
Manny, you can't really pick a side on a quarterback like Lamar Johnson. You don't know if you want him to throw the ball or to run the ball. But in this sense, you got to make him beat him with your arm. You know, you have to. You see as he's running to the outside there.
That's what the props are going to have to do. They're going to have to swarm him and make sure that the holes and lanes to run aren't there, because he will tuck it and run. Back to pass, scans, blitz coming, throws, no one's home.
There's a big 3rd down coming up here. They need to get off the field. One problem they had throughout that William Patterson game, although the William Patterson offense wasn't great, they converted those 3rd and 4th downs. On a good undefeated team like Morrisville, you cannot afford to give up first downs, especially on long 3rd downs like these.
Johnson in the shotgun. 4 receivers, 3 to his left, scanning the field, throws up in the end zone, over his head, it'll be 4th down. And with that,
really good defense on the outside here, Ben. You know, it's important from a defensive back perspective. You have to make sure you turn around to play that ball. If he didn't turn around, he had his hand straight up. That's a pass interference. That's costly. Brings the ball to the 1 and moves the chains. But he didn't. Blocked it, and it looks like they're going for it now.
it'll be 4th down and 10. And the biggest moment in this game. Johnson the shotgun. 2 receivers to either side. Back to pass. Scanning. Pressure. Coming. Looks. Rolling out. Evading pressure. Here it comes. He's going to the sidelines. Will not be stopped by Alvarez. Rolling out still. Looked like he stepped out. Will finally be brought down. A turnover on downs. He is sacked by number 21, Jared Sanchez. And what a defensive stand there for the Profs.
Ben, they're going to need that if they're going to win the game. It keeps the momentum on their side. It was important that they got that rush towards the end there. He had a lot of time in the pocket, but the secondary did a lot to make sure they weren't able to score.
An unbelievable defensive stand there for the Profs. That is how you play defense against this Morrisville State team. And very quickly, we want to bring up that we are proud to be in support of our production in part by Sacanti's Italian Pizza of Glassboro. Sacanti's Pizza is located at 321 Mullica Hill Road in Glassboro, New Jersey. Order online at www.sacantis.com or call 856-881-4412. Sacanti's, a proud supporter of RTN Channel 5. And the Profs get started with a solid 4-yard run by none other than Whittler Marcelin. And that's where we start this Profs offensive attack. It all starts with the quarterback, Billy McCarty. He's taken a lot of flack this year for the way he's played, for the style of offense the Profs have had to adapt with him as the starter. But I just want to bring up 9-3, undefeated in the NJAC as McCarty's under center. The running back is Whit Marcelin. They go with Dante Tobler as the backup and Yassine Rover, and here's Marcelin. Run up the middle, he'll gain about a yard or 2 if that. Wide receivers are Warren Oliver, Russ Fortune, Todd Gilliam.
There's that inside rush right there. See, this team's defense is 2nd in the league. You can't forget that, especially good at the run. McCarty's going to have to step up into this pocket, complete a few passes downfield, keep them modest, and get Marshall the ball.
Almost an encroachment call right there.
Early jump.
I think they want it, and they're not going to give it to him. So they're going to line up, play clock down to 4 seconds. They're going to have to get the play off. They will just barely throw the outside, caught by Oliver, and that's where we'll start the receivers. Oliver, Russ Fortune, Todd Gilliam, Matt Hughes, the tight end, and the right tackle, the big gully, Daryl Gulliford, 370 pounds, that's 6'7", a big frame for the right tackle. Joe Borden, the team captain, is the right guard. Center, George Myers on the left side. We start with Derek Sergio, he's the left guard, and Steven Schwartz moving over to left tackle after George Myers moved to center after the Zaire Pollard injury. The defense will get to you momentarily. McCarty in the shotgun, 3 receivers, a tight end. They'll throw, short, quick route, and this will be to number 4, Russ Fortune, who makes some moves and gains 6 yards.
It's plays like those that are important, but the short first down to Warren Oliver was key. You have to make these guys respect the pass game, even if it's within 5 to 10 yards. These little swing routes, just like that one, you're going to have to rely on your playmakers to make the first guy miss like he just did, fight for those extra yards, and get you closer to that first down.
Defensively, Morrisville runs out with Julian Serrano, Greg Elliott, and Javon Bob. They run a 3-4. Quick snap, they'll throw again. This one to Fortune. They're going to say it touched the ground. I don't think it did. We'll continue. Colt Evans, the outside linebacker. He's the team leader in tackles as you watch the replay.
They might have just ruled him down by contact on that one. I'm not too sure.
I don't know if that definitely didn't look like it hit the ground. Around the linebackers, Wallace Stevens, Richard Diorsena. Another encroachment not called. Delroy Young, another big linebacker, and then Raymond Wolford, Caleb Wright, Shane Carroll, and Anthony Deese, the reigning NJAC defensive rookie of the year. No pass interference called to number 34, Anthony Deese. He looked like he jumped a little bit early and may have made contact with Oliver, but the punt team will go on the field.
You know, yeah, it's good to see that McCarty's trying to pass the ball early. If you want Morrisville to get in this game, you're going to have to open up this pass playing. You got to open up the play action, develop the inside run, get other playmakers involved. This is a good defense that you have ahead of you, and you have to open all your options up if you want your keys to work.
Jordan Charbonneau is the punt returner, almost blocked there. Good punt by Dieterson will go out at the 10, so the Profs will start defensively in a very good spot. 7:45 left in this first quarter, and Steven, we've seen some good things on both sides of the ball. There is a penalty.
Not too sure. It's probably it. Looks like hands to the face. If not,
this one could be moving backward in favor of the Profs.
You know, that's going to be an important factor in this game. In games like this, you cannot afford to lose the penalty battle. This will factor into this game. Yeah. Those are the foolish penalties that'll hurt you.
Unsportsmanlike conduct, and with that penalty, I want to bring up Morrisville State, one of the worst teams in the NJAC in terms of committing penalties. 45 penalties for a grand total of over 425 yards they've allowed via the penalty. So they are not a very disciplined team. They've averaged to commit roughly 9 penalties a game.
Now, penalties like those will hurt you. You move yourself within your own 5, and it's hard to operate an offense from that far, especially out of the gun.
Lamar Johnson will start standing on his own goal line. Ball at the 5. It'll be a quick snap and a handoff to Christian Pena, who's swarmed by the Rowan Profs here. They're smelling a safety, and they want it.
If they pull the ball here, if they want to pass, it's going to be important that you have that inside rush and that outside pressure. You can't allow this guy, who's a playmaker, to get open field, especially not from this far outside.
Rowan's pass defense has allowed an average of 254 yards per game. Morrisville's passing offense, over 266 yards per game. So these are two units defending the pass that have struggled and passing the ball that have thrived. Hand off again to Christian Pena up the middle, gain of a yard. We talked about the loss of Josh Popper. Rowan's electing to go with more of a smaller defensive end in Sean Borkowski, only 215, kind of trying to recreate Popper a little bit. There's one thing that Popper did well, it was getting to the quarterback. And he could corral a quick quarterback like Lamar Johnson. We saw it already. Back to pass goes Johnson. Looking, running, evading the pressure. He'll be brought down, another 4th down. Big stop for the Profs.
Someone to see getting involved on the defensive side of the ball is exactly, you just said his name, Chris Alvarez. Senior on this team, he's a captain. He needs to do a lot. It's that inside rush game. Force him on the outside, make him step up in the pocket, and have those guys on the inside and that interior swallow him up, make the tackle. Chris Alvarez and Jenkins are both tied 3rd with sacks per game, plus Chris Alvarez is 2nd in tackles for a loss per game. It's going to be important that that defensive line makes an impact in this game. Lamar Johnson is an explosive player. You cannot allow him to get the ball in space.
Instant replay is brought to you by Jimmy John's. Bad punt. It'll be returned by Zach France. He breaks the tackle. He'll go to the outside, and he'll bring it back to the 25-yard line. And just like that, everyone at Richard Wacker Stadium is standing on their feet, clapping their hands. The Profs start their offensive drive in points territory at the 25-yard line. This is where Marcelin thrives. This is where this offensive line digs their hand in the dirt and run blocks. This is where the Profs could find themselves getting their first score of the game.
There's no better time right now to score than now, Ben. Marcelin needs to get his hands on the ball. They need to block up front. They need to set the tone and drive this ball in between the tackles early in this game.
Jackknife formation, handoff to Marcelin outside. They'll gain a yard, or at least get it past the line of scrimmage. So it'll be 2nd down. Props lining up 3 receivers, a tight end, that's Matt Hughes. We saw last week they lost their blocking tight end. Hughes more assumes a role more close to Chad Lewis and Brent Selleck of the Eagles. McCarty going deep. Warren Oliver, almost a one-handed catch by Oliver. Oh boy.
That would have been an acrobatic catch there. Got up between 2 defenders, split the safety and the corner. Wasn't really a bad pass, just a good play by the defense.
Look at the replay on your screen. Good floater, goes to the end zone. Oliver almost catching it with one hand.
It's important they get a first down here. If not, at least gain a 6 to 7 yard gain. You want to get some points. You got the ball in such great field position. You can't just have a 3 and out. It just won't help you.
If Oliver had fly paper on his hands, he would have caught that. Marceline to his left, McCarty. Another encroachment almost. Back to pass, scanning, looking, baiting the rush. No, he's not. He'll be brought down by a plethora of Mustangs. This will move the Props back to the 34-yard line. So it'll be 3rd, check that, 4th and long. And we'll see if the Props elect to go the way of the field goal.
Looks like they're going to go for it. What do they got?
And now an in will come. The Props special teams unit.
Looks like they're going to elect to punt here.
So the Props will punt the football. An awkward area to punt it. It'll be a pooch kick. It will not be that far, and the Props will try to let this one roll as far as they can. Another great defensive setup here. Good call by Jay Corsi. If you don't trust your kicker, if you know at 42-yarder last week skimmed the top of the bottom bar of the field goal, maybe you want to punt it and get a good field position for a safety potentially. Good 2-point swing. But really quickly, I want to remind you, instant replay for this Rowan Television Network broadcast is provided in part by Jimmy John's. Jimmy John's offers gourmet sandwiches and is located at 55 North Delsey Drive. You can order online at www.jimmyjohns.com. Jimmy John's. Sub so fast you'll freak.
Looks like Coach Corsi has a lot of confidence in his defense electing to punt within inside his own 30-yard line, but you can't really fault them for doing it. They had such a great stop. They were inside their own 5 last time. It's going to be interesting to see when this big play will break this game open.
I agree with you, Tino, but I will say this. It's interesting as Johnson hands to Pena. He'll go up the middle. It's interesting the Props elected to do that, seeing as Knighton got you 15 points last week and a long field goal. But no, I understand. If you're not confident completely in your kicker, this is Division III, the kickers don't have the best leg. Kicking a 47, 45-yard field goal isn't like the NFL. It's a lot more challenging.
Yeah, absolutely. You want the guaranteed points, you want the 3 points, but you don't want to hurt yourself when it comes to the field position game, especially in a scoreless tie with 3 minutes left of the first quarter.
Johnson will take it himself. He'll get the first down. That'll be the first down for Morrisville since they started this game. So we'll move the chains. They'll be at the 18.
When this Morrisville team is getting first downs, that's when they're most dangerous. They have you on your heels, they know your weaknesses, they see some holes open, and they want to get on the ball and keep going down your throat with this ball. They want to run the ball, they want to pull it and pass it, and hope for that big play.
So Johnson in the shotgun, 3 receivers, a running back, tight end on the line. Shotgun set. He'll hand it to Pena. Pena looking for a running lane, will not get it, will lose 2. Really quickly want to bring up some of the homecoming festivities this week. Starting with Monday, there was a banner competition in the Student Center. Tuesday, they had a push cart competition and homecoming trivia in the Student Center. Wednesday, there was 2 games that were postponed to Thursday, but there was homecoming intramural battleship, which is pretty cool. Thursday, there was Rowan field hockey. They won against Stevens Institute of Technology 7-1. Rowan's women's soccer lost to Stockton 2-1. Rowan's women's volleyball beat William Patterson in 3 sets in their Dig Pink game as this pass will go incomplete. Or excuse me, they'll call it a fumble. They'll call it a fumble. Unbelievable. The Props score on a fumble. I have never seen that before.
It's like the play we were talking about last week, Benny. It's that forward pass that you think's a forward pass, but really you throw it behind the receiver, behind the line of scrimmage. It then makes it a fumble. It is now a live ball, turnover. He scooped it and scored. Let's see what happened. There, they were trying to develop a wide receiver screen, and he just gave up on it.
Oh, man. Number 15, Anthony Gray thought it was an incomplete pass, walked away. That is why you never give up on a play. The kick is good. But number 15, Anthony Gray, quit on that play thinking it was incomplete. The Profs, using their knowledge and wits on defense, pick up the ball, score a touchdown. Unbelievable.
Oh, a play like that is huge. That might be all the momentum the Profs actually need. That shoots.
Number 21, Jared Sanchez. How good of a decision is it to start him?
You know what? You can't give up on the ball. You need the guys who are going to be in there that have the knowledge of football to scoop that ball up and run it into the end zone. Those are key 7 points that the Profs are going to need heading into the second half of this game. They need points. They need momentum on their side, especially with the stingy defense that they have. They can hold the lead. They just need the points to support them.
We talked about it in pregame a little bit. Of course, the pregame show you saw on RTN, and before the game, Tino, the one thing that scared me about this game was the fact that I thought it was going to be an offensive, running-based game, a little bit of passing here and there. I thought that maybe the key play would have been something on defense, and lo and behold, it was.
A play like that is huge. When your defense scores for you, it's always just a pat on the back, especially when it comes to the offense. It's going to be important when the Profs get the ball. They need to run the ball and have some success. You get an early lead like this, especially with your defense playing the way they are, you need to churn some clock. On a no-huddle team like Morrisville, it's important that you have that time possession, that you have the ball in your hands, and that you decipher the tempo of this game.
Wind has made itself a little bit of a factor. Being up high over Richard Wacker Stadium, papers blowing around a little bit. The ball has blown off the tee for kickoffs twice. Dietrichson to kick. Line drive, a good one. This one going right in the end zone. Charbonneau to return it. And he'll be brought down. No, he'll spin away and be brought down at the 20-yard line, about the 18, excuse me.
From the Morrisville side of the ball, other than that first series, they got to get something going offensively. They need to establish the running game, not with only Lamar Johnson. They need to run the ball with Christian Pena. There's been nothing but 1 and 2 yard gains. If you want to run those play action plays, you want to run those quick screens, you have to run in between the tackles.
Want to round out the events for homecoming. So Thursday, of course, Rowan volleyball in their Dig Pink game, beating William Patterson in 3 sets. The lip sync competition. Then Friday there was a campus clean and green that kind of was the prelude to the Proftoberfest block party, which was so much fun. Handoff. Lamar Johnson will go on the outside. Proftoberfest set up a nice little tent. They had a beer garden and everything. It was really cool. Really good experience for all the Prof students here, Rowan students. And of course, just today, we had a Saturday parade and float competition. Of course, we had a homecoming tailgate. We had an alumni Proftoberfest and beer garden going on. Rowan women's rugby, Rowan men's rugby B, Rowan men's rugby A. Alumni swim meet. Of course, the game today. The pros alumni reunion, and then of course tonight, capping everything, will be a Rowan men's soccer game. Past the outside, it's Pena, no one's home. He'll get a good gain out of this one to the 45, pass to the 47. Throwing out to the flat. So just today, there are 6 homecoming games. There have been 10 this week.
You know, bring it back up how, of course, he scheduled his hardest games for a homecoming. We have a packed stadium right now. I mean, the stadium's electric. I mean, the fans are really into this. They have the back. Guys, got a little reverse action going on. Oh, well played. Well played.
Anthony Mella.
Well played.
On the reverse, trying to go up the middle, was hit, spins out, did not see a running lane, and the Profs swarmed him like bees on honey. Of course, they're dressed the part. And as I say that, a bee joins us up here in the booth. Really hanging around you, Tino. I think he thinks you're too sweet.
He likes my skin, Ben. He likes my skin.
Johnson in the shotgun, 3 receivers, a tight end. He'll go back to pass, sees a running lane, goes up the middle, and he will gain 10. A good chunk of yards there by Lamar Johnson will bring Morrisville across midfield for the first time since the start of this quarter. At the end of the quarter, we will have Maria Brasco on the sidelines to give us an update. on the game. Some scores around the NJAC, Southern Virginia and Cortland. That one's getting ugly early. It's the second quarter. Cortland's up 21-0. So Cortland looks like they're going to use their schedule to get back in this. They'll call a timeout. Or no, they're going to go to the sideline, so that'll be it for the first quarter. I thought maybe they were going to call a timeout. It's been early to do that. So with a second on the game clock, a second on the play clock, that'll be it. So the Profs up 7-0 here in the first quarter. We're going to send it down to the sidelines for Maria Brasco. Maria, what do you have for us?
Electricity coming from the stands today. When the Profs took the field, you could see the fire in the eyes. They were ready to take on Morrisville State. I mean, they are #1 in an NJACs, and Rowan is ready to take it. I was watching Billy McCarty, quarterback, warm up, and he looked like he was coming back with something to prove. And I think this is going to be a game for the books, and I'm going to send it back up to you guys in the booth.
Thank you very much, Maria. Of course, the atmosphere here has just been electric, and we kind of felt that before the game, and we kind of knew that going into this game, it was more than just a football game. This is an entire campus celebrating tradition of Rowan University.
Oh, absolutely. The fans, players, coaches alike, all knew that this game had true meaning. It potentially decides who wins this conference. The turnout's amazing, and it's just going to be interesting to see how this defense keeps playing, because right now it looks like they're feeding off this crowd. They're feeding off the energy that we have here in Glassboro, and they're setting the tone right now for the Profs.
So Morrisville will regain control. It'll be a handoff to Pena up the middle. He'll be stopped immediately, but he'll be close to the first down. So Morrisville starting their drive. The Profs in the second quarter scoring-wise. You can check your replay really quick. Pena up the middle. Good blocking there by the Profs. Tackle by a linebacker. So good job blocking for Morrisville. Another handoff. This will go. Let's see if they give him the first down. I may have been down before, but I think they're going to move. Yeah, they're going to move the chains. Christian Pena, underrated running back for Morrisville, 379 yards. He averages 5 yards a carry, 5 touchdowns. So this is a dual running threat. Johnson and Pena. It'll be another. No, it'll be a play fake. Looking downfield, Johnson throws incomplete. Way out of there.
They're trying to get that big play, especially out of the passing game right now, Benny. This is what Morrisville likes to do. They like to work the chains, get within inside their own field, their side of the field, throw the ball and try to score some points. They pull the ball in the play action. He had some rush inside by Chris Alvarez. That's what the Profs are going to need if they want to force these passes to be incomplete. They need to generate that constant rush, get him uncomfortable in that pocket, make him move and throw on the run.
The Profs have scored 6 points in the second quarter, have allowed only 18 pass over the middle, incomplete. Intended for number 15, Anthony Gray. NJAC scores. We're going to update you the full length of the NJAC games. The TCNJ Montclair game has not gotten started. That starts at 4. 2 games are in effect. Kane versus William Patterson at the half. Kane's up 14-3 at the half for SUNY Cortland, as I said earlier, 21-0 over SVU. Johnson back to pass, throws incomplete. Good pass defense there by the Profs. Number 25 for the Profs. Rashad Adams in on the coverage.
Interesting enough, it looks like this is the same field position the Profs were in when they elected the punt, and it looks like Morrisville's going to go with the same choice here.
So they'll try to pooch it. Pin the Profs as the Profs did Morrisville inside the 10 or even the 5. Lamar Johnson rushing in the first quarter. 36 yards, averaging 3.3 yards a game. So the Profs have done a good job of corralling it. Marshland only 8 yards. It's a punt. It's high in the air. Very, very ill-advised fair catch at the 2-yard line. You cannot do that.
You shoot yourself in the foot on a play like that, Benny. That's exactly what you didn't want to happen. The Profs worked hard on their punt to make that friendly roll work in their favor and pinned them on the 3. The Profs just helped them out on that play there.
I can imagine Zach France will get a very stern talking to on the sidelines.
Oh, as he is.
You cannot fair catch it on the 2-yard line. Unbelievable, but nonetheless, the Profs will have to deal with the cards they've been dealt with. It'll be McCarty under center for the first time seemingly all season. It'll be handoff Marshland on the right side. Marshland breaking a couple tackles, and he will help the Profs. He bails them out. Whit Marshland, 15-yard gain. 17-yard, check that gain. He'll bring him to the 20-yard line. Unbelievable run there by Whit Marshland.
Oh, if they're going to want an edge in this second quarter, they're going to need Marshland to get the ball and get into space. Looks like they're trying to move the ball a little quicker now, hurrying up this offense.
No huddle offense. McCarty will give it to Marshland again, running with a full head of steam uphill. He'll gain 5.
Running with a purpose.
So a gain of 7 yards. So they're calling. They're kind of looking like the Eagles here. They're running that quick offense, getting the signs from the sideline. 15 seconds on the play clock, but they'll definitely snap it before then. McCarty in the shotgun. Snap it. It's a high snap. He'll give it to Marshland running to the outside. He'll be brought down, gain 3.
Yeah, he got the first on that one. That's what the Profs are going to have to set up offensively. They need to work these chains. They need to develop things offensively. Setting up that inside ground game opens up the outside run game. Only going to open up your receivers a little bit more. It keeps this defense on their heels and modest for anything to happen offensively.
Profs have not gone to a backup running back just yet. I assumed Yasim Rover would get a lot of carries, or even Dante Tobler. They haven't seen the field yet. It is early on. Fake handoff, he'll throw. Good catch there by Matt Hughes on the run. He'll gain the first down. That's just a brilliant job by McCarty.
There's the play action we were talking about, Ben. You set up that early run. You started on your 2-yard line. You run the ball downhill for about 30 yards, and then you pull it on them and get that quick first yard, 10-yard little gain off that play action with a tight end little drag over the middle. Those are the plays you need.
More impressed with how McCarty was able to take the hit and throw the ball. Hand off Marshland, fights for 5. The thing about Whit Marshland is he may be short and compact. He's one of the strongest, fastest, and fiercest running backs in the NJAC. And oh boy, he's a junior, so you'll get to see him round out his career, hopefully take over Robbie Reed's all-time rushing record here at Rowan. And he would deserve it. He's worked so hard. McCarty is shotgun, high snap again. He'll throw to the outside, and almost intercepted.
Those are the things that can't happen here, Ben. You got to stay composed in the pocket. It looked like he slipped on his back foot there. I'm not too sure, but the throw was rushed. Yeah, that back foot got taken out, but you can't rush those throws. There wasn't too much pressure over the middle. You got to sit back, take that 3-step drop, and hit him.
You can almost say that high snap made him kind of a little bit off balance, and that throw was almost picked off by Raymond Wolford.
The second high snap of that series.
So we'll start in the shotgun yet again. 2 receivers at the top of your screen. McCarty will throw to the outside. Big catch there, and he's going to have it. And more. Number 1. Todd Gilliam making some moves and breaking some tackles. He'll go all the way to the 30, and the Profs look like their offense is in business.
Those are the short developing plays that we were talking about early in this game. Get the ball to your playmakers in space, like a Todd Gilliam or a Russ Fortune. Make the first man miss, get him into space, and let him do what he does best.
Almost lost the football on a strip there, but great job of holding on to it. Great job of evading the pressure, and another great replay here on RTN. It'll be a handoff. Marcelin, he'll break to the outside. Marcelin's dangerous, has the edge. He'll plow over a Mustang and get into the 10-yard line. What Mustang defense, says Whit Marcelin, plowing over a Mustang defensive back. Another impressive run by Whit Marcelin. This crowd's really into it. Everyone's on their feet. They are excited. They are ecstatic. They cannot wait for the Profs to get into the end zone. They go from a shotgun set. All the way down at the 10-yard line. Snap to McCarty, handoff to Marcelin up the middle. He will be swarmed and brought down around the forward progress. May bring him to the 6. He'll be down at the 7. If the Profs can score here, and they've controlled the possession game so far in terms of time. One thing that we talked about, they have to kind of control the time of possession game. They may have a shot to kind of open this game up even more going forward the second.
Oh, absolutely. They've wasted about 5 to 6 minutes already on this play clock for this drive. It's important that they get the points here. It's key. On a close second down like this, they hand the ball off to Whit.
Marcelin.
Oh, he's in.
They're
going to give it to him. Whit Marcelin on the 6-yard carry.
Great run there by Whit Marcelin. That encompasses this game. The Profs are going to have to fight for every inch, and Whit Marcelin plows his way into the end zone. Number 5 for 6, touchdown. 13-0. You can see it. Great handoff, great blocking. When you're getting second-level execution blocking, and you're going to let Whit Marcelin get a full head of steam to plow over the secondary, unbelievable.
Great push by that offensive line on that play. You're going to need that up front, especially against a stingy defense like Morrisville's, to generate that run game. It's important. Profs just got it done that drive there, Ben.
14-0. And this game we thought was going to be close is starting to become a little bit of a runaway. The Profs looking unstoppable offensively, immovable defensively, and they're making the plays they need to make.
This is the game we were talking about. The Profs needed to have if they wanted to win this game. Control the tempo on defense, control the clock and ball on offense, generate some points any way you can, and they got a 14-0 lead with 9 minutes left in the second quarter. You couldn't ask for any better of a situation than that.
The Profs playing the fight song. They've had a lot to fight about and a lot to cheer about. 14-0 this lead. 9:41 left over a Morrisville team that looks stunned. Absolutely stunned. So Dietrichson will kick. Last time these two teams met was last year. Morrisville got its first win against Rowan since joining the NJAC in 6 games. Rowan had beat them the 5 previous by scores of 58-14, 67-0. It'll be a squib kick. It'll be recovered by number 40. John Andrews, the tight end, the freshman tight end on the special teams unit. In 2010, the Profs beat William Patterson 34-21. 11, it was 36-17. 2012, it was 47-0. Last year, Morrisville finally was able to beat the Profs 41-21. And in that game, Lamar Johnson was the key factor, scoring 5 touchdowns on his own as Rowan went into Morrisville and came out with a big loss. And that was a big loss early on last season. That kind of changed the way the season was. And going into this, we're not really seeing the same Lamar Johnson as last year.
Well, it's important that Morrisville gets momentum back on their side, especially coming on the road in a big, big conference game like this. It's easy to put yourselves out of this game down 14-0. They need to develop things offensively. Like I said, that inside run game just isn't there, and he shouldn't be the guy running the ball inside the trenches. They need a guy to do that.
Very sparsely you see Lamar Johnson getting 10-yard gains since he was able to rack off some in the first quarter. The Profs have really shut him down. Barberry covering the slot. There'll be a pass downfield. Intercepted! This is picked off. And he'll return it to the house. Touchdown! The second defensive touchdown for this Rowan Profs team. Number 7, Eddie Davis to the house.
Defensive points will win you a game, Benny. Defensive points will win you a game. That's what the Profs are doing right now. They're forcing them up front with that rush, playing man-to-man on the outside, and jumping those early curl routes.
Eddie Davis, unbelievable. Lamar Johnson looking to a hook route. He was looking to Anthony Mello, and it was picked off by Eddie Davis, and the Profs, well, they already knew, blocking downfield. We're able to get a touchdown.
Looks like that got brought back.
Call it back. Oh no. Oh no.
It's those penalties, Ben. The penalties will kill you. As they change running back up, they got Dante Tobler in there, backup running back in there now. They can't get rattled. They can't get too caught up in this hype. They just got 6 points taken off the board. It's important that within their own 30, they need to get points right now, especially with those points getting taken off the board.
A block in the back penalty pulled the touchdown off the board. The Profs do get the interception, and will start just past the 30. It'll be a handoff to Tobler. First time we've seen his name in quite some time, and he'll gain 6. Tough luck for the Profs. Lamar Johnson will throw an interception. It'll be his 5th on the season. Interception number 5.
Looks like they said the ball was out.
Unbelievable. I did not see. You can see on your screen the replay. We're trying to look at where the penalty was for the interception. Meanwhile, Morrisville will get the ball back on a fumble recovery.
Looks like Tobler was trying to claim he was down by contact on that play. I wasn't too sure there was a pileup. There was an initial push forward by the offensive line, but that's what I was telling you. It was key that they got points on that drive. Now Morrisville's got the momentum coming the other way.
So some mayhem right there. We apologize. Pass downfield off the fingertips of Anthony Gray. So an interception. And they'll give it back on a fumble.
Crazy turn of events there.
Ay caramba.
They got these Rowan Profs fans off their feet for a while there. It's going to be interesting to see what Morrisville has for this Profs defense, especially coming off that turnover.
Johnson will take the snap. Throw over the middle. No one's home. No one was in the vicinity of that one. I assume there's been a lot of miscommunication. It'll be 3rd and 10. That's the second time Lamar Johnson's overthrew a receiver by a significant amount. It's not looking good for Lamar.
I wonder what it is, but he's being rushed. He's being pressured. Some people may not be able to see it. The outside rush, especially from Chris Alvarez, and the inside rush, it's there. And a bobbled interception that could have been picked off, but will just be dropped by Tyler Jenkins. Now forces a 4th down as it looks like someone's down on the Morrisville side of the
Looks like
field.
it's number 8. Christian Pena is down on the field, and it looks like he may have had the wind knocked out of him.
Yeah, that's not good. That's their starting running back. That's who they need to get back in this game if they want any chance of winning this.
Going back to that play really quick. Johnson across the middle. Jenkins almost had the second interception. Watch it. Back to pass, sensing the pressure. Throws, oh boy.
There were 4 Prof defenders around that ball. They need to develop the run game from up front if they want to get back in this game from Morrisville's side of the ball. They can't just expect to pull the ball on 3 plays and just throw the ball down the field. That's just not the team they are.
Production support provided in part by Grand Theater in Williamstown. Or excuse me, Sacanti's Pizza. Production support provided in part by Sacanti's Italia Pizza of Glassboro. Sacanti's Pizza is located at 321 Mulligan Road in Glassboro, New Jersey. Order online at www.sacantis.com or call 856-881-4412. It'll be a punt here by Morrisville. And a very good punt at that. France on his horse to go back and get it. He may just let this one bounce. to the 1 yard line. Oh no. So France for the second time, a miscue on the special teams. He fair caught one at the 2 and now allows this ball to bounce all the way back to the 1 yard line. Going to defend him a little bit because he may have thought it would have bounced into the end zone, but you cannot allow Morrisville to get that recovery.
Absolutely not. They had success driving on the last drive. They went 98 yards for a touchdown, but you can't expect it, especially from the Rowan's offense, who just doesn't have the manpower to do that every drive, to go now 99 yards downfield to try to put some points on this board.
So the Profs will start at their own 1 yard line. We saw them fight their way out of it earlier in the second quarter. It'll be a handoff. Marshall up the middle. He'll fight. And he'll bowl over a Mustang. Runs right over number 4 for this Mustangs defense, Shane Carroll, and gets to the 11 yard line.
Running hard on that one. It's those inside runs that'll set the tone as you take a look at the last play.
Great blocking up front. Boom.
Big hit in the middle. It's the yards after the catch, honestly. After the first hit anyway from Marston as they make a nice play. Number 3, Delroy Young, the junior.
Handoff Marshall to the right side, tackled by number 3, Delroy Young, but I assume Shane Carroll still has not realized where he is. Big hit there by Marshall. Another good run there, picks up 2 for the Profs. It'll be 2nd and 8. It'll be a quick pitch. This one will be to Marshall, and shoulder pad out. He'll run hard and get a first down and then some. He'll head to the sidelines. He'll get a break. It'll be the big man, number 17, Yasim Rover, to take over for the running game.
They change up the back of the backfield. They bring in Yasim Rover, freshman, who's listed as their 3rd-string running back, but after Dante Tobler fumbled that last ball, it appears they're going to give him the go, and he's stuffed just on a simple 2-yard gain.
Yasim Rover, 220 pounds, a good compliment to Whit Marcelin at 195, so you have 2 essential power backs. It's a short gain there by Yasim Rover. You have a bowling ball and a quicker bowling ball, essentially. Good little 1-2 punch here, and the better part is they both have multiple years left. Marcelin has 1 year left. He's a junior going to be a senior. Yasim Rover, a freshman running back, may not have the speed necessarily. It'll be a keeper by McCarty. Will shoulder the hit, will go out of bounds. Billy McCarty silencing the critics, showing he has a little bit of mobility. Was not the fastest play, was not a Lamar Johnson play, but he gets to the 50-yard line.
It's plays like those that keeps that defense modest. They overplayed that run on the inside, and he just pulled it. It was a design run, it looked like, maybe a little option read. But the Profs are going to need big plays like those, especially out of McCarty, if they want to move this ball on this drive.
See him shouldering the hit right there. Good job to lower the shoulder, go through the hit. It'll be a handoff, this one to Marshall. Up the middle. For another Yasim Rover, Marshall has not gone back into the game yet. He'll get a little bit of a break here. They are running the ball very well with Yasim Rover as the running back. Morrisville, they look gassed. They look absolutely gassed.
Hands on the hips right now, especially from the D lineman. It doesn't look good, but from the Profs' perspective, it's exactly what you want. You're running the ball inside the tackles. You're throwing the ball for those short yard gains. You have the game at your fingertips right now. It's important that they get some points as he bounces it to the outside. And it looks like they're going to give him the first down. You know, the Profs need to keep having success running the ball. That's when they're at their best.
Another hard run there by Yasim Rover. Cardi in the shotgun. Handoff to Rover. You see him lose his step a little bit, but recovers it in time to bowl over another Morrisville defensive back. These defensive backs have been absolutely beat up today. And You get the feeling the Profs may have one more big offensive play here before the half, because these defensive backs have been absolutely beat down. Hand off Rover up the middle. And Rover, another big hit.
From the
Red Rover, send Yassim over. Boom!
I like it, Benny. From the defensive side of the ball right now, Morrisville's got to create a turnover. They need to generate some momentum defensively. Despite the one fumble that looked like a little mush, little loose ball type of thing in a pile, they haven't had anything exciting happen so far. They've just been getting the ball taken down their throats the whole drive. They need to develop something up front, especially within that front seven.
Watson Weber in. It'll be a handoff to Marcelin, going to the top of your screen, trying to find an outside lane, makes a move. He'll gain a yard. Surprisingly, has a great knack for getting across the line of scrimmage no matter what. Rover will check out, or checked out before the play to get a breather. The Profs will move their number 1s back in. 3:30 left here in this quarter. The Profs really looking for that next score to really kind of put Morrisville out of this. But we saw the last time these two teams met, the Profs took an early lead on Morrisville. Morrisville was able to score 35 points in the last 3 quarters to get back into it.
This game isn't over by a long shot.
Back to pass goes McCarty, rolling out, evading pressure, throws, caught by number 1, Todd Gilliam.
Nice catch.
There is a penalty. It'll be on Rowan.
Yeah, I saw some movement from Marcelin.
Illegal motion on Whit Marcelin.
Looked like he did it twice, actually. Stepped forward once and then stepped into it again.
A tough penalty to call, but the Profs will have to go all the way back to the 40-yard line, so it'll be 3rd and 10. Instead of picking up the first down, the Profs once again, bad penalty, taking away a big play. McCarty in the shotgun, jackknife formation. Getting an audible from the sidelines, 5 seconds to snap this ball. McCarty taking his time. Snaps it before 0, rolls out. He'll keep it, and he'll have a nice chunk of yards, taking a big hit there. I don't know if he got across the first down mark. They're gonna give it to him. McCarty taking a huge hit and showing his toughness.
Bring up bitches on the scramble. Oh, tough hit from a quarterback, but those are the kind of plays you want your quarterback to make. Can you agree, Benny? You want him to put his nose down and sometimes go for that extra first down that your team needs.
He plays with a lot of heart, and especially on his sleeve. And 4th and 1, he'll need every inch of heart. It'll be a handoff. Marshall up the middle has the first down to the 25 across the 30, so the Browns will keep the ball. 2-minute drill is about to come into effect. They'll gain 3 and get to the 25-yard line. More importantly, a fresh set of downs for a Rowan team that is now really starting to drive here. And here it comes. Let's go, Rowan chant. Stomping their feet. It'll be a pitch to Marcelin. Hesitant step, side step, sees the hole, and he's out to the 7-yard line. Whit Marcelin, another big run, will get it into the goal line. Unbelievable run by the M-man. Whit Marcelin, he'll go to the sidelines with a big smile on his face.
Yeah, you can see the breakaway speed on that one, Benny. You almost got away from number 28, Ray Wolford, on that one, but grabbed the edge of his jersey and kept him from scoring those points. But they're going to give another handoff to Rover, and he's going to be stuffed at the line of scrimmage.
Will not necessarily lose a yard, but the ball won't go forward. So Morrisville calls a timeout, minute 35 left.
If you're Morrisville right now, you got to stop them on 4th down. You have to force them to try to kick the field goal. You can't afford to go into the second half down 21-0, especially not a game like this.
So Morrisville calls a timeout. It's a good opportunity to play the trivia game I like to play, which is Name That Alumni. So Steve, name the most popular alumni from Morrisville. He is an MMA fighter, one of the top ones in the world. And your third in is his name begins with a J.
Well, to be honest with you, Ben, I have no idea who you are talking about.
His name is John Jones, one of the top MMA fighters.
John Bones Jones.
Yep, Bones Jones, as many people know him, is currently the MMA fighter. He is currently the UFC lightweight heavyweight champ.
Wow.
Prominent alumni from Morrisville. We'll have more trivia on Morrisville coming up in a little bit. There'll be a handoff to Rover. Red Rover, Red Rover. He'll plow through the Morrisville defense. He'll gain 2, and it'll be 3rd down. You can see the power run of Yasim Rover. Big legs is what it takes to be a power running back, but you know, when there's 3 guys trying to stop you from going into a hole, you can have all the power in the world. You cannot stop 3 large individuals plowing down on you.
Yeah, looks like Morrisville's taking another timeout here. Just to set up that defense, like I said, they want to force Rowan to kick those field goals. Like you said, although it seems like a chip shot, it's not a guarantee. You gotta force them to kick the ball here.
We saw this week in the NFL, blocked field goal to end the game. Anything can happen on field goals.
Oh.
Another timeout here in the 2nd quarter, so we'll play another trivia game. Name the most popular sport on the campus of Morrisville. Now, obviously, with the Mustangs, you'd think there could be a variety of things, but Steve, what do you think?
You know, with a name like Mustangs, I could only assume that, well, their best sport would have to do with a horse, wouldn't you think that? Maybe equestrian, maybe? I'm not too sure.
Ding, 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 ding. 100 points to Steve Rodriguez. Horseback riding, a very big sport in Morrisville. Rowan does not have an equestrian team. McCarty will take the shotgun set. He'll go to throw. It'll be lobbed up in the end zone and out of bounds, but there will be pass interference.
Looks like it's going to be defensive pass interference on that one. It's like we were talking about before. As a defender, you have to turn that head around. You can get your hands up and hands on them, but you have to turn your head around, or they're going to throw the flag every time.
So Rowan may get half the distance to the goal and then some. Or it may go on Rowan. I can't believe if they call this on Rowan.
Yeah, I wouldn't imagine how.
Definitely a shove on the defensive back. And they're going to call it on Matt Hughes. Unbelievable.
Yeah, as you took a look at the replay, I'm not too sure where the offensive pass interference was. It looks like his hands might have got on him a little bit on that one, but if there's pass interference, it looked like it should have went to the defensive side of the ball.
Unbelievable officiating. I don't see how you call that on 84. He jumps up. There was no push-off. I didn't see one. So it'll be 4th and goal. And the hero from last week's game against William Patterson, Tyler Knighton, 15 points last week, will try to make it 18-2. 23-yard field goal. The holder, Jeff Rodriguez. The long snapper, Paul Rucci. The kicker, Tyler Knighton, a freshman. Snap down, kick is up, and it is blocked. Oh, it's good. Wobbled a little bit, didn't look like the prettiest kick, but it'll make the Profs lead 17-0.
It's going to be interesting to see what Morrisville has on this drive. They only have 1 timeout. Of course, they called the 2 timeouts on that defensive possession. There's still 1:20 left. You did what you wanted to do. You held them on 4 downs within the own 10. Hold them to a field goal. It's important that you try to get some points here. You don't necessarily need the big play right away, but you need a good chunk of yards at a time to get yourselves on the board going into this half.
Going into the half, Profs are poised to give Jay Accorsi win number 100. We talked about it. Coach Accorsi is the kind of guy, he'll take points regardless. And he really kind of looks at every game as a win's a win, takes it week by week, and has really built this program up well.
Absolutely. You can't really fault him for doing that. Points are points. Points win you the game. Right now, Morrisville has no points. They're down 17-0. They need something positive going into this half. Because at this point, I can't really see a positive yet.
It's been an extremely rough game for Morrisville in terms of defense. Offensively, they haven't gotten much going. The wind blowing again. Ball goes off the tee. It's not overly windy, but I'll say when the gusts do come, they are pretty fierce.
Definitely can't be a factor, especially on key kicks like those field goals. That field goal came out a little wobbly. I'm not too sure if someone got a hand on it, but
another one.
Yeah, just like right there. It can play a factor in this game.
So now they're going to have number 39, Troy Sicca, hold the kick. That was one thing I was always kind of nervous of doing, was holding kicks when people kick it. I don't know if you ever were.
Well, I was a long snapper in high school, but I mean, I dabbled. I dabbled with the holding game. It's more confidence than anything in the kicker.
It'll be a worm burner. Recovered by Morrisville. They'll take it back to the 40, or excuse me, the 38. Looked like the wide receiver, Joe Fennell, had that.
And now comes the Morrisville offense that has the ball in decent field position. I can't see a reason why, with 1:13 left and one timeout, you can't at least generate a field goal here. You have to get the ball downfield.
So with 1:13 left, Morrisville will take control. Lamar Johnson back to pass, throwing downfield, another wide open receiver in the form of Anthony Gray.
More importantly, he got out of bounds. Those outside routes, the clock doesn't move. Total of 4 yards moved on that, and they gained 15 yards. Those are the plays you need to make, especially throughout this game, if you want to get yourself back into this.
1:09 left, clock stopped because Gray went out of bounds on the catch. Be 1st and 10 just past the 50. Pass rush, Johnson throws another wide open receiver in Josh Powell.
Too much time in the pocket, Ben, too much time. That inside rush that they had before just isn't there right now. They're trying to send their middle linebackers in for that extra blitzer, but they're going with a 3-man front right now, and it looks like they can't generate any pressure.
The Profs playing a prevent defense, and we all know how dangerous prevent defense can be. Throws caught again, this one by number 16, finally getting his name in on the offensive books, Jordan Charbonneau.
The plan for the prevent defense that they had was to keep the ball inside the hashes, keep the clock running, and it worked on that play, but
it'll be an interception. Wow. Intercepted by Tyler Jenkins. He had a shot at one earlier. He gets one now. And that will stop another Morrisville drive, and a big stop. Morrisville driving, looked like they're about to score. Johnson getting greedy with the football. Completion, 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 interception. That's how this drive will go.
Well, that prevent defense worked in their favor. They wanted the ball to stay over the middle, and a bobble like that, it looked like it hit off his shoe. I'm not too sure, I haven't seen the replay yet, but it played right into their favor. They have 5 linebackers spread across the middle of the field, and ball just ended up right in their hands, and for Rowan, that's exactly what you want going into the second half.
So Rowan will cruise into halftime with a 17-0 lead following the Billy McCarty kneel down, and Morrisville, failure on all levels. Defensively, they haven't been able to rush McCarty that well. Stopping the run's being an issue. Even going into this, we said their pass defense was big. They have not done the pass that very well. Curtis Fitzpatrick, he is going to have a lot of things to say to his team.
You know, up until this point, Morrisville hasn't played a terrible game. They had success moving the ball at different series. You're not going to move the ball every series, but you got to think they're shooting themselves in the foot, especially with a play like this. This should have been caught. Blame Lamar Johnson all you want. That's a play that should have been caught.
It did hit off his shoe. Good call. Tino. Interception by Tyler Jenkins. That is his first interception on the year. And a big one at that. 17-0 lead for Rowan. We're going to send to our sideline reporter, Maria Brasco. Maria, what a good first half.
Hey guys, going into the second half, we are 17-0 Rowan. And I think they're feeling very confident, but I don't think they're going to come out into the third quarter too confident. They know that Morrisville is a really good team and they can come out and put a score on the board at any moment. And I really think that the crowd and everything that's happening today has really fired up Rowan. And I think they're going to come out and it's going to be a great, great game. We're going into halftime. We have some really cool homecoming festivities that's going on. We're doing a field goal competition with the president, Ali Hujman. And the winner of that gets a $25 Barnes & Noble gift card. So I wonder who's going to take it home. I'm not quite sure. Maybe it's me. Who knows? We're going to send it back up to you guys in the booth.
Maria, if you can kick really well, you may even have a spot on the Rowan roster. Unbelievable. Unbelievable first half. I'll say in all phases, Rowan has dominated this game. Very impressive so far. We have a little bit of a halftime show coming up, but Tino, going into the break really quick, what does Morrisville have to do and what does Rowan have to continue doing?
Well, from the Rowan side of the ball, Rowan's just got to continue playing Rowan style of football. They're doing everything they want to do right now. I wouldn't say they're fully dominating this game just yet, only being 17-0, but they're having their way with this Morrisville defense. From Morrisville's aspect, they need to generate something offensively, something positive at least. They're driving the ball, but these turnovers and fourth down conversions that they're just not getting right now isn't working. They need to develop some points offensively.
Quick scoring recap around the NJAC before we go to break. SUNY Cortland crushing Southern Virginia 35-0, and Kane over William Patterson 24-3. And we also want to thank our production crew, and our production is supported and provided in part by Sacanti's Italian Pizza of Glassboro. Sacanti's Pizza located at 321 Mulligan Hill Road in Glassboro, New Jersey. Order online at www.sacantis.com or call 856-881-4412. An instant replay for this broadcast is provided by Jimmy John's. Jimmy John's offers gourmet sandwiches and is located at 55 North Delsea Drive. You can order online at www.jimmyjohns.com. Jimmy John's, sub so fast you'll free. The Grand Theater production supported by, of course, the Grand Theater in Williamstown. The Grand Theater is located at 405 South Main Street, Williamstown, New Jersey. For more information, you can visit their website, www.roadcompany.com, or call by phone 856-76-2120. And when we come back, we'll have more Profs football here in the second half of homecoming. Profs up 17-0 for myself, Tino, Steven Rodriguez, and Maria Brasco on the sidelines. I'm Benny Pinell, and you're watching Profs football here once again, 17-0 here on homecoming. Welcome back here at the half. Rowan leads Morrisville 17-0. You're watching Profs football here in RTN Channel 5. Benny Pinell alongside Steven Tino Rodriguez, our sideline reporter, Maria Briscoe. Of course, some other scores around the NJAC to get back to them. Kane right now leading William Patterson 24-3. Southern Virginia being absolutely pounded by SUNY Cortland 35-0. And the TC&J Montclair game has not gotten off just yet. It starts at 4, so we'll be starting in the coming minutes. But getting back to this game, so many storylines coming in, so many storylines really answered, so many of our questions answered in that first half. But the one thing that remains, can the Profs finish this off and give Jay Accorsi win number 100?
Oh, and I think they can. It's going to be important to see how Morrisville, they can't set anything up offensively. I'm not too sure if they made halftime adjustments to that. But if they can't get anything going offensively, the defense, who's ranked number 2 in this conference, has to make a play for them. The Rowan's defense should have 2 defensive touchdowns already in this game, and it's clearly the factor in this game so far. Morrisville's got to step up on defense if they want to get back in this one.
Kickoff underway, a scoring update once again. Scoring change, Kane now leading William Patterson 30-3. So that game looks like it's just about over. SUNY Cortland versus Virginia, 35-0 looks just about over. So the Profs could make this 3 absolutely dominating games over NJAC opponents. And we don't know how Montclair and TC&J is going to happen, but if Montclair somehow loses TC&J, we could have Rowan as the independent leader in the NJAC. We'll know what happens later in this game. But right now the kickoff is about to ensue. The kicker, Zach Drake, not a good kick to Matt Hughes, who puts on a move and will go to the 37. So that's how we start this second half. Profs up 17-0. Their offense will get back on the field in good field position And of course, the man of the hour at the half, Whit Marcelin, 120 yards rushing. Asim Rover, 22 yards rushing. Billy McCarty, 28 yards rushing. So really, it's been a three-headed attack of props, including Billy McCarty, who has gutted out some really good runs so far here in this first half.
What's important is that the props are keeping them modest on that pass game, though. Although the run game is dominating right here, as when Marcelin breaks out a big 15-yard run, they're completing the short passes that they need. Russ Fortune has the most receptions with 2, but his other 3 complimentary receivers have 3 catches that have impacted this game.
See a good pitch there by Marcelin. Cutting it upfield, gets hit a couple times, puts on some moves, good stiff arming, and Marcelin now makes it 135 yards for this game. We had a 200-yarder earlier against SUNY Cortland on the road. 245 in that game. He's looking to make it more than that. It'll be a pitch, double handoff to Russ Fortune, and he uses his speed and some blocks downfield to move the chains again. 2 big runs to open up this half, and the Profs are punching Morrisville right in the teeth here.
You can sense that the Profs just want more right now. They're running harder with the ball, whether it's receivers to running backs. It looks like a tired Morrisville defense out there already, and we're just getting going in the second half.
9 passing plays for the Profs. They've thrown the ball over 20, or ran the ball, over 20 times in this game. Lamar Johnson has been contained. It'll be a handoff to Marcelin up the middle. He'll fight for 5. Johnson for the Mustangs in this game, just under 100 yards passing, under 50 yards rushing. He has been contained, to say the least, by a Profs defense that's kind of made some adjustments and found a way to keep the speedy and dual threat Lamar Johnson under taps in this game.
Well, what they're doing, they're taking away his complimentary receivers and his other running attack. They're making him the guy and the only guy, and when you have a one-man team like that, you can't win football games.
It'll be a handoff up the middle. Marcelin will plunge for 1. 3rd and about 7. Oh boy, the Prof offensive lineman is down. This doesn't look good. It's Gulliford. Oh no, Daryl Gulliford looks like he may have had someone roll up onto his leg. If he's down, this will be a massive loss for this line. Felix Wormbach will come back in. He started this season as the right tackle. And you see he goes right into the knee of the big man. You can kind of see it. Marcelin being tackled right into the side. That looks like definitely a knee injury.
The Profs can't afford another injury up front right now. They just lost their blocking tight end. If they're going to lose another offensive tackle, it's going to hurt the running game. I mean, early in this game, you're only up 17. You're still trying to drive on a key 3rd down. You need that protection up front if you want to win this game.
They have adjusted to looking at the knee of Gulliford. And as we talked about in the William Patterson game, his knees are so important to him because to support that 370-pound frame, you need strong knees that can't take a beating. And if he's hurt here, 1, it's a bad loss for the Profs, but 2, it's one of the worst injuries an offensive lineman can have. He's sitting up now. They're going to try and pull him up and see if they can get him off the field by walking. So a good sign that he is going to walk off the field.
Looks like that left knee.
It is his left knee or right, Tino?
Yeah, they're trying to call some big boys over. That's 6'7", 375 pounds. You need some big boys to carry him off that sideline.
Gulliford says he's going to try as hard as he can to get off under, well, as much of his own weight as he possibly can put on that knee. Now, being 370 pounds, I can't imagine the trainer's table being able to hold him up. So they're going to have to find a way.
It looks like they're going to bring him to the bench first, but they might just try to bring him to the trainer's table.
Well, they are going to try and sit him down at the trainer's table. Meanwhile, McCarty in the shotgun, Marcelin behind him. It'll be a pass. He pump fakes. He throws deep. Has a wide receiver. Overshot him.
Just missed him. Just missed him.
Just over the head of Warren Oliver.
You got to complete those balls. That would have been big for this team, especially coming off an offensive lineman injury like that. Your run game is there. A big explosive 30-yard pass play like that would open this game up.
It was the right play, I'll say that. Not necessarily the best throw in the world. The wind could have had a factor with it. I did feel a breeze. Gulliford on the sideline.
McCarty looks rattled after that last play. He kind of took a spill towards the end there. Saw a little limping, but it looks like he's okay.
It'll be a false start on the prop, so not exactly the best recovery. You can hear the wind on the officiator's microphone. A false start on the props. This is a penalty you don't need right there. A 4th and short. You know, you commit that penalty, you move yourself back to a 4th and long. It was a go for it kind of area. You could have made it. You had the defense on your heels. You kind of let a drive waste away.
You don't even give yourself a chance. You were in field goal range. You still kind of are, but you force yourself to punt within your own side of the field again, and this game is not that far away.
So Dietrichson trying to loft this one. Great play! Unbelievable! Great special teams.
That's hustle right there, Ben. That's hustle.
Eddie Davis tipped that ball back in.
So
but even better, he positioned himself to step not in the end zone, step outside the end zone, step up, tip it back into the field of play, and the Profs were able to down it at the 2-yard line. Great special teams and a great start for this Profs defense.
It's plays like those that'll win you the game, buddy. You put them on their own 3-yard line again for the 3rd time off a key punt. As an offense, you can't operate from inside your own end zone every single time. It just hurts. It's too much pressure on your back, and another key play for the Rowan special teams.
This crowd smells a safety yet again, and they might get it. 3 down linemen. Profs rushing, throws, it's caught by Anthony Gray. He'll break free for mere moments before being brought down at the 20.
Those are the plays going forward that Morrisville's going to have to hope for. Those short yard gains, develop that quick game, get Lamar. Yeah, nice pass, nice little 10-yard completion. Those short little hook routes, it's going to generate yards for you, and you're going to move the chains offensively. That's what they need right now because they still have no points on this board nearing the 10-minute mark of the second half.
Small chunks. Johnson across the middle again. He'll find Powell. It'll go in and out. Powell drops it.
Another drop pass.
Had a gain of about 11 there. Would have been another first down for Morrisville. Instead, it'll go to 2nd and 10. They are still looking at the knee of Gulliford. We will get you injury updates as we can. Johnson back to pass. It'll be a handoff. This will be to number 35, Darrell West, freshman running back. But there will be some penalty flags. Hold up. We'll see what happens.
Looks like it could have been a potential face mask. Not too sure, though.
There's about 4 on the field, so I assume there's multiple.
They could potentially be offsetting, which
would help the Profs.
Would help the Profs. It wouldn't even hurt in their favor, but there's a big discussion going on. So
the Zebras meet in the center. Meanwhile, Gulliford hasn't moved off the stretcher yet, or not off the stretcher, the trainer's table yet. His knee is exposed, and we'll get the call. So number 2, that's Josh Powell for Morrisville, has been ejected from the game.
Wow, big play. Up until this point in the season, Powell was the second leading receiver on this team. Although he's had a bad game so far today, he had a couple drop passes. That's still a guy Morrisville is going to need in this game if they want to come back.
So Josh Powell, the Morrisville leading receiver, one of Morrisville's leading receivers. The second leading receiver. Going into this game, 31 receptions, led the team in receiving touchdowns with 6. Exits the game on a personal foul. Tina, we can talk all about if sticking up for your players are right, but in a game like this, you cannot get ejected that way.
Not when you're down 17 points. If you're trying to make a statement, if you're trying to get your team going, you do it in a different way. Penalties like that, ejections, it's only going to hurt you.
Once again, the officials telling us the penalties reset, offset. So coming in now to play wide receiver is Joe Faniel. So Joe Faniel comes in to replace Josh Powell. It'll be a pass across the middle. This one complete to Anthony Gray. It's fumbled. And the Profs, they're going to call it incomplete.
Hit hard. He was hit hard on that play. That didn't look too good. Something to also keep an eye on right now. It looks like Morrisville might be going with their third string running back, 35 on there. He's not even listed on this depth chart that we have. It looks like Pena's still out from that first half injury, and that could also play a role for this Morrisville team.
It'll be number 35, Darrell West. We'll look at the replay again. Johnson from the shotgun. He'll roll out, pressure, throws down the field, almost intercepted. Another big hit by this defense. They are fired up.
You can feel the momentum shifting in the stadium right now. This defense really wants this win.
You see Johnson feeling the pressure. I think he got really scared when number 9 for the Profs, John Barillo, rushing past the rushing linebacker, stepped up, jumped up. He saw a linebacker coming, got nervous, rolled out. You see that big hit. A big hit there by this defense on number 14, Anthony Mello.
You know, an impact player on this Profs defensive side has to be the senior. And
Another
that was
almost
nearly
blocked. France will
Chris
return
Alvarez
this
is
one.
really making an impact in this game.
Good move by France, but there will be a block in the back penalty that'll take this one back.
Looks like there's another flag too.
Definitely one's a block in the back on Eddie Davis, which is unfortunate because that kind of was the block that springed everything. I didn't think that was necessarily illegal. May have had a certain angle that may have signified it.
That's all it really takes for that penalty to be called. It depends where your helmet is on the shoulder pad. If it's not directly across his body, if you're not in front of him fully.
Oh yeah, that's
right
that's
there.
not
That's
a good
just,
angle.
yeah.
Yep.
So it looks like they had 2 block in the back penalties. One was further along through the return, but they're going to take the first initial one, so this way they have the field placement that they want. It looks like it's going to bring the ball back to about inside the 20, and that's where the Profs are going to start their offense.
So the Profs have committed 2 very big penalties in this quarter. Not the best way to start a quarter against a Morrisville team that has came back on you before. You cannot allow them to get free yards, free plays like that. So undisciplined play by the Profs pits them now at the 20-yard line. So the drive starts at the 20-yard line. For an offense now going out -1, Darrell Gulliford, who is sitting up now. So it'll be a hand up to Whit Marcelin, making some moves. There he goes. Sprung him loose. Another move there to the 40 will be brought down at the 45-yard line. Whittler Marcelin. Another big run. Instant offense.
Yeah, they go with that little pitch play that they did the first half, and it just cuts it back across field the whole way. I mean, nothing you can really do about that. The speed of Whit Marcelin clearly is taking over this game right now.
His nickname is Shady after his idol, LaShawn McCoy of the Philadelphia Eagles. It'll be a handoff to Marcelin again, using his speed and size to get 5. He picked his number, mostly because he wanted to wear the number of the average yards per carry he was going to get. He loves that number 5. And he loves even more being the star of this team. And if there's anyone that I would pit as their best player and their real leader next year, it's Whit Marceline. Everything about him has just spoken so much this kid's career.
There's a toss again.
Hand off Marshall on the outside. He'll get a hard three, gets a shot on the sidelines.
Defense was ready for it that time. You know, if you're the Profs, you can't really complain about what you're getting right now. You're getting about 5 to 6 yards of carry from Marceline. You're moving the chains decently enough, but you're putting yourselves in positions on third downs that they normally don't put themselves in. You're going from about 3rd and 9s to 3rd and 4s, which are completely more manageable for an offense, especially the likes of Rowan's.
We'll bring you an NJAC scoring update in a second. There has been a little bit of a comeback. Which game, we'll tell you. McCarty in the shotgun. Marceline to his right. 2 receivers at the bottom of the screen. It'll be a throw to Fortune, and he'll catch it. They're going to say he caught it. Big move there for a first down by the Profs. Good catch there by Russ Fortune.
Smart play call by the coach here. Quick snap, quick throw, gets you the first down. You throw to the most reliable guy you got right now on the field, at least wide receiver-wise, and you move the chains.
Excellent route running, too.
Yeah,
excellent route running. Scoring update. William Patterson starting to come back on Kane a little bit. 30-17 now. 17 unanswered points in the half. It's in the 4th quarter, though, so it may be a little too late. Marceline handoff. He may get to the line of scrimmage. I don't think he did. The TCNJ game is mere moments away from starting. And that right there is the game that when the Profs end this one, they will definitely turn on their radios and cue to the Montclair game. Marceline up to 167 yards rushing. It'll be a handoff again to Marceline, and he'll make it even more. Breaking through the line of scrimmage, another big pickup. And he'll move to 175. 175 yards rushing now for Whit Marceline.
Nearing another 200-yard gain.
He's closing it. It would be his 2nd on the year. 3rd straight 100 rushing yard game. Another handoff. Marceline brought down behind the line of scrimmage. So it'll be 4th and about 5. We'll see if they elect to go for it. They're going to bring on the punting unit that has done so well for this Profs team, really pinning Morrisville back.
I'd say it's safe to say the average starting field position, at least off a punt, for this Morrisville team has to be within their own 10, if not 5. I mean, the last 3 punts have been phenomenal, especially for the coverage team.
Another NJAC final. We'll bring that up to you in a second. Dietrichson with the punt. This one lofting. Another great special teams play.
Yeah, that's Eddie Davis again, number 7.
Eddie Davis, Mr. Special Teams, Mr. Defense, Mr. Everything for this team.
He had that near interception before that got taken to a touchdown, but you can see he's there. You need people to make plays like that for your team. Like I said, they're starting within their own 5 almost every drive now. You can move the ball 50 yards from that spot. You're still nowhere close to scoring. It hurts. For an offense, it hurts.
So once again, Morrisville starts their backs to the end zone, or right up in it. We'll get you the NJAC final after this play. It'll be a handoff to the running back. It looks like Christian Pena may be checking back into the game. The NJAC final, Cortland finally finishing off SVU. And of course, head coach Jay Accorsi couldn't be more happy with the way his Profs performed today. Really, really excited coming into this game. Of course, it's a 100th win. And I'd say Accorsi, looking at that clock right now, he sees that time winding down, and he sees an entire career coming to fruition in 100 wins in 13 years for this program. It'll be a handoff up the middle. They'll gain about 7 yards. They'll come close to the first down.
You know, right now this Rowan Profs offense, defense, and special teams are playing the way they want. They're playing that prof style of football. You get those defensive touchdowns, you get an early touchdown offensively from your running game, you generate a field goal, and you sit back and play defense. Force them to make a play. Make them beat you, and they're not beating themselves right now, Benny.
Profs have committed a few penalties, but you're right, Tino, they've stayed within themselves. Lamar will keep this, he'll have now over 50 yards rushing. It's a fumble. Kurt King recovers. We'll see if they let the Profs have it.
Looks like the floor, I think the impact of the floor forced that one out.
Johnson using his legs on this one to pick up a first down, keeps it, goes right up the middle. He's had success up there today. And the ground definitely caused that one.
It looks like it. I mean, there was a hand in there, but the ball wasn't jarred loose until the impact of the ground, and by ruling, he's down by contact.
But a first down nonetheless for the driving Mustangs are on the 25-yard line. Looks like a false start. So a false start on the offense will move it now to the 20-yard line. It'll be a 1st and 15. You just cannot have that. Up the middle. It'll be number 8, Christian Pena, for a gain of about 5 or 6. They'll bring it right past the first down now. It'll make 2nd and 8. 4 receiver set. Johnson tries to keep it. He's mugged. Everyone's there. And the sack will go to number 9, John Barlow, who is there with a host of props. There'll be half sacks to give all around. Barlow, the linebacker, moving up, playing linebacker or defensive end here. Rushing the pass again. Johnson thought about it. He'll try a deep pass. He has a man open, incomplete.
That pass rush is just too much right now, Benny. He can't set his feet. He's trying to do too much with the ball. He feels like he's the only playmaker they have out there, and clearly you saw it on that throw right there. He tried to scramble way too early, had to pull it back, reset his feet, and throw the ball downfield, and although it was a quality throw to a nearby receiver, it's just not the play you want on a 3rd and long.
It's another 4 and out for this Mustang team. They'll bring their punting unit on. Franz back to return. The punter almost blocked again. Tyle Dunworth. France, good return, getting some moves, getting some blocks. He'll get to the 40 before being brought down. Another Tyler Dunworth punt brought back pretty good. So Franz making up for his miscues early on. The Profs will start at the 40-yard line. And this means more Marcelin. Profs could use one more score to kind of ice things here.
Oh, definitely. Offensively, though, I wouldn't change too much. I'd stick to what you got right now. Throw that little pitch game. Throw the inside run in there with Marcelin. Still throw the short routes to your inside receivers, though. That's working right now. It's getting you first downs, and it's important that you keep that going so you can keep generating some points right now because, like you said, a 24-0 lead may be all this Profs defense needs right now.
Oliver with the catch. He'll be ushered out of bounds, gain of about 5. The 11th pass play on the day. For Billy McCarty, Profs have exclusively kept the ball on the ground. They've done a very good job of run blocking, very good job of running the ball, and it's all a tribute to Whit Marcelin and a tandem of Dante Tobler and Yasim Rover, who I said going into this game was a key player to watch. He provided big things for this Profs offense. Guarding the shotgun. It'll be a handoff. Give to Marcelin. Has some room on the outside. Puts on a great move. Blocking downfield. Another 10-yard gain.
You said his nickname was Shady, right, Ben? Because I saw a little shadiness in that.
Little LaShawn McCoy.
Sean McCoy-esque in that play.
Great give to him.
Great steal on the outside, though, by the offensive line.
I'm telling you, that move right there gave it away. A little bit of a shove to Warren Oliver. May have thought he went down after that, stayed on the sidelines for a couple of seconds, went back on the field. But a great move there by Marshland puts the Profs now across midfield to the 47-yard line. 3 receivers, top of your screen. A quick pass, this will be Fortune. Good blocking, has a lane to make a move. And they'll get across the 40 to the 35, now 3 yards away. Another good little bubble screen right there.
It's so short passes, Ben. You got to get your playmakers, especially like Russ, the ball in those situations. You make him shut that first tackle, like we said. You have the good blocking out front by your other receivers. Make them make a play. Get your playmakers the ball. Do what they do best. Get in open space and try to score some touchdowns.
Another bubble screen brings the Profs 2 yards from first down. They'll give it to their money man. Marshland has open room. Once again, shoving players away. He's going to break this one to the 15-yard line. Whit Marshland.
Strong run.
The second big run for Whit Marshland here. He has definitely eclipsed 100 or 200 yards on this drive. And here's the run. Breaking tackles, fighting, the fearlessness, the guts of Whit Marshland. This defense wants nothing to do with number 5.
It's the hustle we were talking about, Ben. Number 5 just got it. Marshland's got it today. He's running hard. He's running with a purpose. You know, something that I feel like Morrisville just doesn't have right now. They can't seem to bring him down. And you talked about his work ethic. You can tell. You can see it on the field. He does not want to be stopped.
We do have an injury here, a stoppage of play. It is Todd Gilliam. Doesn't look like a leg injury, so that's good. It looks more like a hand injury. We'll get you updates as the game goes along. The injury earlier to Gulliford, he has not stood up yet. He is kind of extending that leg. So we'll see how things play out. Now 2 factors in this offense are out.
They're checking the right knee.
Cody Watts checks in. There'll be a pitch to Marshland. Great move by Marshland. McCarty throws a block. McCarty. Marshland touchdown. Unbelievable.
Hey, it's that hustle we were talking about from your quarterback. You want him to make a play for you, and if you see on the replay coming up, they had to cut the whole play back. There was nothing on the right side for Marshland. It broke down that little pitch. He made one play, and McCarty seals the edge with a great block, and Marshland with the finish. That's what you want right now. As the score's about to get to 24-0 in favor of Rowan.
So number 24 coming. Knighton's kick is up, and it's good. 24-0. Rowan now all over Morrisville. And that may be the straw that broke the camel's back, so to speak. What was the old saying that Gale Sayers used to say? Give me 5 inches of daylight and I'll break it for 20.
Absolutely.
Give Marshland 5 inches of daylight. He will kill any defense.
I couldn't agree anymore. It's that breakaway speed and the determination he has. We were just talking about it. He had a strong run going into that play. We had a little stoppage because of that injury, but that was back-to-back plays where Marshland did it all himself almost, other than a couple key blocks. They're putting their hands on him, but he's just running right through him. It clearly doesn't want to be stopped.
You saw at the end of that, he did the Superman, ripping his shirt off and revealing the S underneath. Whit Marshland scores the 3rd touchdown for this Profs team. They've done it defensively, they've done it offensively, and their special teams has played magnificent. 24-0 all over this Morrisville team, and again, this wind is going to come into effect here. You see the wind blowing just a little bit. That has really kind of tempered the kicks and the passing game a little bit. Didn't think going into this the wind would be a factor. The forecast said sunny at 66. It was a beautiful fall day. Kick is up, it's another squibber. And it goes past. Again, it goes past another Morrisville Mustang. So we'll say the wind had an issue with that because the Profs have not put the ball in the air yet in this first half when they kick it off. Then they're not used to fielding the grounders, Steve.
Yeah, if you're on the Morrisville sideline right now, you got to make a statement. That kickoff was no way to start this, but
right through the wickets. Right through the wickets.
You know, they got to generate something. You said we talked about how last year they came back from 3 possessions down. 24-0. This game is not over yet, but they're going to need to set some points up.
So a bad kickoff for Morrisville. Poorly played, goes right through the wickets of Jordan Charbonneau. And Lamar Johnson once again takes the ball and takes over within his 20. Pass down the middle of the field, out of the reach of Christian Pena. Dungy on the coverage, not the exact guy you'd want covering a speedy running back like Christian Pena.
You know, it's good to see Pena's back in the game right now, but smart play calling by the Morrisville sideline. You want to generate that big play aspect, and, you know, it's a gamble. Although you don't want that guy making the play, you're sending your running back deep downfield, forcing a linebacker to get out of coverage, forced to go man-to-man down the middle of the field with him.
Morrisville has thrown the ball 25 times, completed only 9 passes. Lamar again, that's number 26, an incompletion. Number 26. He has completed only 9 passes for a completion percentage that was at 37%. It's dropping. A bad day for Lamar Johnson in terms of passing. They may have to start going to the run and run right into the teeth of this defense. Mother Nature has helped the Profs in terms of picking up this win. Rattling the camera a little bit. Johnson back to pass, looking, throwing, and he'll be knocked out of bounds. Another big hit. They're going to call it incompletion. 3 incompletions, 27 total passing plays, only 9 have been completed. Not a very good day at all.
Jared Sanchez, number 21, you're going to see him on the outside of your screen. He's causing havoc on the defensive side of the ball. He's forced at least 4 to 5 incompletions, almost had a couple interceptions. Defensively, Rowan's getting everything they want right now. From the Morrisville sideline, I don't know what play you got to call in the playbook, but they need something to change this defense up. Nearly punted again, nearly blocked.
Poor punt here, this will bounce. Morrisville will down it just past the 45. The Profs are 17 minutes and 32 seconds away from pitching a shutout. Are 17 minutes and 32 seconds away from handing head coach Jay Accorsi a big win. A player is down. It looks like a Morrisville Mustang.
Actually looks like a referee, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh no, it's a referee.
Oh, that's just the worst.
One of the hardest jobs in sports is to be an official.
Couldn't agree anymore.
Because not only do the fans either like you or hate you, it's kind of it's a job of really being a rule on the field. The ref is up, and you take hits like that every now and then. It's scary.
There is that risk aspect of it. You have to get into each pile, each play. You could easily get rolled over, and it looks like he's limping. It looks like his knee hurts a little bit. Hopefully it's nothing serious for his sake. And it's good to see all the referees are around him, supporting him.
So Gilliam is on the sidelines. That's an injury update from earlier. Todd Gilliam is on the sidelines walking around, gripping his hand. Gulliford is hurt. Now an official is hurt. Now our production support is provided in part by Sacanti's Italian Pizza of Glassboro. Sacanti's is located at 321 Mullick Hill Road in Glassboro, New Jersey. Order online at b2b.sacantis.com or call 856-881-4142. And Jimmy John's instant replay is provided for this RTN broadcast in part by Jimmy John's. Jimmy John's offers gourmet sandwiches and is located at 555 North Delsey Drive. You order online at w.jimmyjohns.com. Jimmy John's, sub so fast you'll freak. And the Grand Theater, of course, in Williamstown. Grand Theater is located at 405 South Main Street, Williamstown, New Jersey. For more information, you can visit their website, www.roadcompany.com, or call 856-728-2120. Rush's fortune on the carry. And another injury. Morrisville Mustang, number 9. Slow to get up. It looked like 94 was the number. Julian Serrano. Yeah, he just got caught up into the pile there. Always scary when a player gets caught up in a pile or rolled up on. You always worry about the knees or the hamstrings, and that was just an instance right there where the run's going and he gets caught up in a pile. Handoff Marceline. Or excuse me, handoff Rover. He'll plow forward for the first down and more.
Nice cut on that one by Marceline. Rover. Sorry about that, Rover. No, you said it before. You have a boulder and then a little quicker boulder. It's a nice little, I wouldn't say earth, wind, and fire type of action, but it's a nice change of pace for your offense when you have a bigger back of Rover and then you have a shorter, quicker, kind of harder runner of Marceline to change up the pace of this offense.
It's as beautiful as earth, wind, and fire, I can tell you that.
Can't sing as good, though. Can't sing as good.
Would hope not, at least. Rover in the backfield. It'll be a handoff to Rover. Red Rover send Yasim over, bowling forward. Gain of 5 yards. Yasim Rover has seen a lot of action these past couple of games. He saw a lot of carries against William Patterson. He's seen even more here against Morrisville, spelling Whit Marceline. The referee is standing. He is trying to put pressure on his leg. You don't have the name of the official. He is the field umpire, though. Getting some water. It looks like he'll be okay. Gulliford, though, has not moved. It'll be handoff to Rover again. Good little footwork there by Yasim Rover, plowing forward.
Yeah, it looks like the coach is going to try to keep Rover in this game, not only because they have a commanding lead. They're trying to run out some clock. He's run the ball really well for them. In the first half alone, he only had 6 carries for 22 yards, but they were impactful 22 yards. He's putting his head in the trenches, and he's getting those little yards that most people wouldn't normally get to. You're putting yourself in a good position on a 3rd and 1 now.
They'll have to run one last play before the end of the quarter, and then we'll send it down to the sidelines. Billy McCarty in the shotgun. He'll pitch to Rover. Rover again plowing forward. And he'll gain the first down. So that's how they'll end this quarter. 24-0. The Profs all over Morrisville. And Maria, tell me a little bit, going into the 4th, what do you need Rowan to, what do you expect Rowan to do?
Hey, Benny. Yeah, we got an injury update with number 77 offensive lineman, Darryl Gulliford. He said it's his left knee. He's not sure if it's his meniscus or not. He said it feels like the same injury he had last season. So hopefully it's not something that will put him out for the rest of the season. We have some NJAC games coming up, and I'm really hoping that it's just something that he can rest on and be able to come back next week. We're going to send it back up to you guys in the booth.
Injury update from Maria and Tino. She was talking about how Gulliford hopes it's not his meniscus. It looks like it possibly could be. The thing is, he's in good spirits. He's sitting up right now. He has not been taken off the field yet. Ambulance is ready to take him off when the game's over, but it looks like he'll try to stick this one out. So good on Gulliford. But going into this 4th quarter, Rowan has their foot on the neck of the Mustangs. What do they need to do to finish them off?
Oh, run the ball. They've had so much success running the ball throughout this game, switching up running backs, switching up aspects. Stay true to that short passing game when you need it. Get them on that surprise side kind of attack, but stick to the ground and pound that's working for you so far. If they run the ball straight down this field for the next 30 yards and punch another one in, that may be all she wrote.
Doesn't get any better than this. You have 2 running backs, both averaging north of 4 yards per carry this game. Yasim Rover on 10 carries, 43 yards. Whit Marceline, unbelievable. 29 carries, 223 yards. It'll be a handoff. Rover again. He's to the outside. No one wants to get in his way. A big gain there. Another first down for Yasim Rover. And the Profs are smelling blood in the water.
Looks like there's no sign of Rover coming out of this game. He's having his way with them, honestly, Ben.
You see Rover. He has a little bit of footwork, too. He's actually pretty quick. Getting the 10 yards there, making some contact, but he does have good footwork. The finals around the NJAC. Kane almost came back, or William Patterson almost came back on Kane. That game will end 30-24. It'll be a handoff again. This one will be stuffed. Rover will be stuffed in the backfield. Bad snap to McCarty.
Low snap on that one.
So the finals once again, TCNJ and Montclair's game is just getting started as we speak. SUNY Cortland destroying Southern Virginia. See the low snap again to Rover. Bad snap. And that's not going to allow Rover any kind of time. The final on the Kane-William Patterson game, 30-24. And then, of course, SUNY Cortland destroying SVU.
And there's that
Be a
pitch
handoff.
to
Rover, he's in.
Morrisville.
Touchdown. So that will do it. 30-0, 31-0, and Yasim Rover has taken the reins as the number 2 back here.
Similar play to the one Marson ran before, except there was no cutback. Well designed up front. Good push by the offensive line and just a hard run by Rover.
Marcelin 2.0 plus about 100 pounds. Rover is a big doozy to take down at 220 pounds. Compact guy. Him and Marcelin are almost mirror images of each other. This is amazing. The Profs have found their factor back and the man of the future. Field goal is good.
If you're the Profs defense so far, you have an offense that's coming into this game leading the NJAC and scoring 40.3 points a game. You're holding them to nothing right now, and it's about 13 minutes left in this quarter. You got to think they want to keep this shutout, don't you think, Benny?
They do, and I would imagine they're going to keep their defensive starters on the game in the game for this one. I'll say this. This is the most complete football game I've seen the Profs play all year long. They've defended the deep pass very well. They've defended the run. They've been able to contain a quarterback going into this that we thought almost certain that he was going to have a better game than this. No one predicted the Profs being able to do this to Morrisville.
Not by a long shot. And better to the Profs. We said this from Willie P. As we see the run again. We said this during the William Patterson game. You started to see the Profs kind of form themselves as a whole. They had the field goal team there. The defense was clicking. They had a defensive touchdown in that game as well. The offense was there. And against Morrisville, they put it all together today so far.
Barring a miracle comeback, there will be a couple of records reached today. Of course, the obvious one is Coach Jay Corsi getting 100 wins as the kick once again blown off the tee. This wind has been a major factor for both these teams in terms of nullifying the passing and the kickoff. We'll see if now we have a T-cam. Oh, boy. Here we go. Dietrichson with the kick. It's up, and it's the first one they put in the air since the first half. Returning it is Charbonneau. He will meet a wall and return it to just past the 25 to the 27. So, of course, he's on pace to get his 100th win, and a big one at that. I think that's what kind of fired up this team even more, along with homecoming. But also, Billy McCarty now will go to 10-3 as the Profs starting quarterback, undefeated, remaining undefeated in the NJAC.
You know, that's crazy. A lot of people would like to question McCarty for his quarterback abilities. He's a winner. Not only that, he's a game manager. In situations like this, he knows what he has to do to finish the job off, especially for the offense. Your defense held them to no points so far. Granted that, time in and time out, you can see that McCarty's the guy for the Profs when they need to hold the ball and run the clock out.
It'll be a handoff to Pena. 13 minutes and 35 seconds. See the handoff there to Pena. Oh, the Profs are just in the backfield. This defense is in the zone. And I'm very confident going into next week's game against Montclair that the Profs may be able to do something special.
Couldn't agree anymore. Yeah. Up front, Chris Alvarez is playing a fantastic game this game. He's been disrupting in the middle all game long. Normally you see him rush on the outside, but he's holding it down in the trenches right now. Oh.
There'll be another penalty. It looks like a hold. Or number 99 for this Profs defense, Sebastian.
A helmet came off for the Profs defense.
Sebastian Joka looks like he had his helmet ripped off.
May even be illegal hands to the face, maybe a holding.
Jared Sanchez grabbing at his chest. He looks like he has a little bit of maybe a chest injury. We'll see what happens with him. Another injury for this team, but number 99 for the Profs had his face mask taken off. That is illegal hands to the face and holding. It'll be a 10-yard penalty, so we'll move Morrisville all the way back after a big gain. Mar Johnson using his legs there to evade pressure, but getting a little bit of help from penalty. You see the replay here. Johnson in the pocket. Has the pressure coming down. Barlow almost had him right there. But using his Michael Vick-like skills, hitting the circle button and able to get out of that situation. Profs rushing the pass, destroying the middle. Christian Pena gets it on a screen, but will be brought down immediately. So it'll be a 3rd and 12.
Looks like this defense is just beating a dead horse right now. They've got this Morrisville offense figured out. They have had no success since the second half. I'm not too sure if they made any halftime adjustments because anything they're throwing the Profs' way right now is being stopped right at the line of scrimmage.
So Johnson in the shotgun. He'll go back to pass, scanning the field, stepping up the pocket. He has a lane to run. He will pick up the first. It will slide down before. He made that a lot closer than it needed to be. If he dove forward, he would have had the first down. I don't think he's going to get a good spot here. But nonetheless, they're going to go for it anyway. It'll be a 4th and less than a yard, maybe 1. So 4th and 1, and there will be a timeout called by the Profs. So just under 12 minutes left. Rowan up 31-0. Just an all-out dominating effort. Going to take the topic off of football really quick and go back to the famous alumni from Morrisville, John Jones. Are you an MMA fan? Are you big in MMA?
Oh, I am. Well, I used to be a bigger UFC fan. You know, back when I actually played video games, I used to like it a little bit, but still a fan nonetheless. Still a fan nonetheless.
Profs up 31-0.
I was more the type of person to like a Chuck Liddell.
Yeah, Chuck Liddell was one of my favorites.
Nice, man.
Talking about MMA, there is someone on the crew here that recently had a first amateur fight. Tom Crossan got his first amateur fight. Unfortunately, the result did not yield his way. But we're all very proud of Tom. He fought very well. Lasted 3 rounds, came 11 seconds away from winning. So MMA is definitely a big thing in the Rowan community, and it's interesting that Morrisville, John Jones, the connection there. They'll start at the 37, 4th and 1. Here we go. It'll be a give to Pena. He'll be brought down behind the line.
He's short. He's short.
Big stop.
Wow. And who's the man to make the stop? Number 11, Chris Alvarez. You know, he's practically been in the backfield all game today, and you know, that's the type of play they needed from the defense if they wanted to come up big today, and that's exactly what happened.
1st and 10. After Morrisville 37.
They bring Marston back on the field. Looks like they're going to keep the first-string offense out there.
So the Profs, smelling blood in the water, will once again set up in Morrisville territory. It'll be a handoff to Marcelin. Has the lane on the outside, cuts it back, has the lane on the inside now. And will get close to the first down.
Gain 9 yards on the play, 2nd and 1.
Stoppage on the field as they try to talk about a couple plays right now. Brings up a 2nd and 1. Looks like they're going to try to punch the ball again here with Marcelin. Cardi in the gun.
It'll be a handoff, Marcelin up the middle.
Might be enough for the first. Depending
We'll
where the
see.
spot is. Looks a little short. Brings up about a 3rd and inches.
It'll be 3rd and mere inches. At the 27-yard line. So the Profs looking to convert here on 3rd down. If not, I assume they're probably going to go for it on the 4th just to keep the drive alive and hold the ball. So 2 shots here. At least that's what I assume. Of course, not always right. It'll be a handoff, Marcelin up the middle. He will not get it. If he does,
Looks like he
close.
got it on the 2nd effort. Like I said, depending on the spot here.
You see the replay. Just good penetration up front.
Good penetration up front. I mean, you kind of know what's coming from the defensive side of the ball, but from the Morrisville side of the ball, you got to commend them for not giving up here. Down 31-0. You got to force them to go on all 4 downs. You got to force them to turn this ball over. You got to want the ball on your side. There's still time to try to score some points and make this somewhat respectable.
It's close.
So it looks like it's going to bring up a 4th and inches for the Profs. Big conversion here. If they can get this, they can run a good amount of time off this clock heading into the end of this 4th quarter. McCarty under center.
McCarty under center will hand it off. Marshall will have it this time.
Ooh.
And then some.
Hurdle's a player. Looked like they were trying to crash the middle on the defensive side of the ball, expecting a quarterback sneak, and they pushed the ball to the outside. Gutsy play call for the Profs, but clearly rewarding.
So they'll keep the drive alive. Under 10 minutes left. You saw the replay. Marcelin using his moves, using some open space to get that first down. It'll be stopped in the backfield. So they're going to say he picked up a yard. The play didn't go backward. Morrisville on the verge of losing their first NJAC game this season, and quite the upset. A dominating win by the Profs that said so much to this NJAC conference that really was in high competition early on in this week, and there'll be a penalty. It looks like now things are getting out of hand.
Looks like the Morrisville side is frustrated. I mean, you're getting beat 31-0 on a homecoming game. All momentum's on Rowan's side. It just seems like it's going to be holding against the offense. It just seems like the Profs have been dictating this tempo all throughout the game so far.
They're going to call it holding. I thought there was a little bit of extracurricular activity after that play. You can see right here. Oh, yeah. Right there, you can kind of see number 71 was grabbing the jersey. They'll get you for that every time. Ball will be moved back. The clock will stop, or excuse me, continue running momentarily. 8:30 left. Profs dominated today's game in terms of time and possession. Dominated the game in terms of being able to run the ball, established a great pass rush, and that's what we were talking about. Morrisville does not, defend pass rushes that well. It'll be lateral pass, Marcelin taken down in the backfield.
That's
Ran
something
into his own blocker.
The Morrisville defense needed that all game. The outside rush, that containment. They've had no answer from Marcelin right now as he comes up limping. That's not a great sign. They've had the push up the middle for the most part, but Marcelin's had success bouncing the ball outside, getting downhill off these sideline gains, and he's been tearing them apart.
Questioning as to why you keep Marcelin in this game until now. You have Yasim Rover. He's done very well.
That just might be the call, and they might just take him out from here on out.
So Marcelin will head to the bench. It'll be Rover. It'll be a high snap, throw to the outside, complete to number 80. Kevin Leonard getting his first catch in a few games. Heard his name called a lot opening night. High snap there, throw to the outside. Good pass there by McCarty. But of course, when you run a short route like that, you're basically just putting yourself in position to get a better punt, and that's what they did. Dietrichson, he's punted well today. We'll see if he can do it again.
We were saying that before. I think they've had 4 punts now within their own 5-yard line. That's just incredible.
Precision.
Just incredible. I mean, practically unheard of. I mean, other than seeing it with our own eyes today. It's going to be interesting to see where he puts this one.
Fans starting to head for the exits here. Profs have run away with this one. 6:45 left. 6:43, we should say.
They ran the clock out there on the they ran a delay of game there. They took the penalty, so this way you're going to punt the ball anyways. Might as well run the clock as much offensive time that you have and just punt it to them anyways.
So we'll get more room to punt the football. Dietrichson for the punt. Rucci with the long snap. Eddie Davis on the flank. He's at the bottom of your screen. High punt. Let's see if this one goes in. It will. Didn't have a shot. So the first touchback of today's game for Dietrichson. Overall, he's had a great day punting. And now Morrisville will take over. 6:36 left. Oh, they're not completely out of it, barring an absolute miracle. But I can almost assure you Lamar Johnson and company more than likely won't get it with a props defense that has played unbelievably well today.
Yeah, fans are starting to head to the exit right now. From the Morrisville side, you got to want to score some points here. You have to. I mean, you're putting up 40 points a game. You come into Glassboro and you haven't put up a point, let alone offensive drives, and another incompletion. You got to make this game somewhat respectable, Ben. They haven't been able to move the ball all half, and if you're Lamar Johnson, you kind of go from 100 to 0.
I think one of the factors in terms of the passing game has been how hard these props defensive backs have been hitting these receivers. You know, it's tough to go across the middle when you have a little bit of fear inside of you. It takes a fearless wide receiver. Pass across the middle.
Absolutely.
Almost intercepted by King. In and out. You see Gulliford right there. His knee is wrapped. He has a crutch, so he will not return for this game, and his status or next week's going forward is questionable. Johnson throws the ball, tips off wide receiver Kurt King, and almost had it. That would have ended the game.
Practically would have sealed it as he drops back here.
Throws out to the flat, knocked away again.
Great defense. These defensive backs are really up to date right now. All game long, they play these balls perfectly, almost as if they knew what was coming. They've read the quarterback fantastic so far, and they force another punt.
This props defense, this is how you defend the pass. Watch this. That's how you defend a pass, everyone. Defensive backs in training that are watching this, that's how you defend a pass. The props defense, when defending the long passes, really impressed me today. They had a lot of critics. They kind of shut them up a little bit today's game. Bad punt there by Dunwood. This one won't even pass the 45. Fratzel hold it at the 40 here. We're trying to call for a roughing the return man or a late hit. There it'll go.
It looks like it's getting scrappy. I think what they were trying to get there, fair catch interference, he clearly called it, bumped into him a little bit. Didn't seem like it affected him too much, but flags down, they still might get the call.
Rules are rules, and I think Morrisville has affected themselves poorly on this one. Franz gets the catch, 37, wanted to hit him hard. And whether or not he knew that was a fair catch, I think when you saw Franz nonchalantly walk up, you have to assume he's not going to return from that point. So I think they're trying to decide. They're going to call it on Rowan.
They said unsportsmanlike, I think. Offsetting.
Unsportsmanlike conduct, that offsets. Not a smart decision by whoever it was to get chippy after the play. So you see Morrisville very frustrated coming into this game. They had the world around them. You go 5-1, undefeated in the conference. You come in thinking this is a Rowan team we beat last year. It's their homecoming. We just want to dominate them. We want to embarrass them. And you get embarrassed 31-0. You get dominated essentially. And now the frustration's starting to show. Yasim Rover up the middle, plows over more Mustangs.
You know, the saying is that you are as good as your record shows, which is fair enough to say, but up until this point, Morrisville hasn't necessarily been or played against any competition that would be significantly better than Rowan right now. Rowan's played 2 top 25 teams, one that's maybe in the top 5, top 10, and Wesley, you got to think maybe this is a bit of a wake-up call for this Morrisville team.
So McCarty comes out of the game, incoming the freshman who has a lot of hype around him, Kyle Maroney. Takes the label of being a good passing quarterback, will operate an offense now with a very good running back in Yasim Rover to end this one. 5:30 left. Rover with the handoff, goes up the middle. More Mustangs falling under the wheels of Rover there. Another 5-yard game. It seems like they've been able to really chip away at this defense. And I'm confident going into next week's game against Montclair. Now, if you play the schedule matchup, Rowan was able to beat SUNY Cortland. Montclair coming out today and just dominating. Or excuse me, Montclair is playing TC&J. I pardon that. I thought Montclair was playing SUNY Cortland. I believe Montclair has played SUNY Cortland already. So you play this schedule game, and Rowan able to, beat SUNY Cortland, now beat William Patterson, and now beat Morrisville. I think Rowan has to be pretty confident going into the Montclair game, as Roney will keep it, go out. 5-yard gain. The one thing I fear next week is 2 defensive matchups. Montclair has a more methodic offense than Rowan does. Rowan more kind of just has this big running game and can pass well. Montclair scares me a little bit, but I think we're going to be okay against Montclair. Moving forward, then you have a light schedule. You play Kane, then you play, following Kane, you play Southern Virginia, then Kane, and then TC&J to round it out. Now you're playing more of the bottom of the NJAC there, so I think Rowan is going to be okay after this game. This was the real big game that a lot of people had questions to. As you see, another game there, and I think Rowan silenced all their critics and really has helped establish themselves as a true power nationally.
I feel like the important thing for Rowan going into the next game will be not playing down to the competition. And I'm not necessarily saying that Montclair's a bad team. What I'm saying is you've played so well the last 3 games, time in, time out. The offense is there, everything's clicking. You can't just assume since you beat the #1 team and you're now the #1 team that these other teams don't want it anymore. You got to bring your A game every time, and you got to make sure that in a 1-point game, nothing bad happens.
You see McCarty on the sidelines. He's been the big guy all game long for the Profs in terms of leading the team. Game management, and that's such a big thing quarterbacks don't do, as you see. Rover will be tackled, and it'll be a 4th and long. Well, in terms of going for it, 4th and 3. McCarty threw a key block to spring a Marceline touchdown early in the 3rd quarter. 13-yard run. We'll give you a quick scoring recap. It started by a 15-yard Jared Sanchez fumble recovery, and that kind of set the tone from there on out. The Profs didn't look back. Got another touchdown on a Marceline 7-yard run. That put him up 14 points. That was a 10-play drive for 98 yards. They went the length of the field to do that. Tyler Knighton got a field goal right before half, a minute 20 left. Morrisville State will take over on downs, and the final touchdown was in the 3rd quarter, the touchdown before the final touchdown. Marceline 13-yard run. You see Witt 2 rushing touchdowns today, north of 200 yards rushing. Homecoming seems to be the times when he likes to break out. It seems like any time there's a lot of hype behind a game, Witt breaks out.
He's the guy on this team. He's the guy who, if they need something to happen, he'll show up and turn this game around, and that's what he did today. He set the tone. Over 200 yards rushing, like 216 yards throughout the first 3 quarters. Nice little cut here to the outside as he goes down the sideline.
That'll be a definite late hit. Damon Moore gets a hit really late. He was out of bounds when a Rowan prof hit him. I think that was more of a message. So Coach Accorsi 2 minutes and 30 seconds away from getting a Gatorade shower. And his 100th win, 13 seasons, 1 losing season, 6 NJAC titles, 6 times Coach of the Year. And win number 100, he's the all-time winningest coach in Prof's history. Pass down the field, intercepted. The new quarterback, Damon Moore, came in. His pass will be intercepted by Corey Hagee.
Only fitting they end the game that way, wouldn't you say, Ben? Defense played so well today. So well today. Way to cap off a shutout.
Marcelin will come in, Marcelin will stay on the sidelines. 240 yards for Whit Marcelin. And now the offense just needs a couple of kneel downs, avoid the 2-minute warning. You keep the ball rolling. You see it right here. Deep pass down the sidelines. Hagee was all over the wide receiver. Big interception. Profs will take the field. They've gone down to Dante Tobler to be the running back, giving Yasim Rover a break. So the beat team is in essentially. Rover will end his day with 88 yards rushing on 18 carries. So the double-headed Dragon really showed themselves well today, almost getting 100 yards a pop by the running backs. 12 yards away from getting 100 yards. The Profs will just milk the clock here. They've turned off the 2-minute warning.
Yeah, looks like they're just going to run this one out now. Less than 2 minutes left. 2nd and 9. They just need a first down here, and I think this one's all over.
Only a handful of plays left, and you see Profs starting to congregate around the Gatorade coolers.
Looks like they're picking out which Gatorade cooler to actually pick from.
They're looking for the fullest one. I think they may have found it.
They might be looking for the iciest one, actually. Make sure he gets a nice, cool ice bath.
The high was 66 for today. I can tell you it definitely chilled a lot lower than that, so whatever they pick will definitely be cold. Oh, they're going to do a double. They're going to do it. They got 2 Gatorades ready for Coach Accorsi. It'll be another handoff to Tobler. He'll plow forward. And there it is.
There's a Gatorade bath.
Coach Jay Accorsi, win number 100. And with that, the Profs will kneel the ball, and that will be the final play of the game. The Profs win 31-0, completely shutting down Morrisville. Yet at this time, we need to throw it across campus to Tom Wilms and Thomas DiNapoli as the Rowan ice hockey team takes on Stockton on RTN. For Stephen Rodriguez, Maria Brasco, and the rest of our broadcasting team, I'm Benny Pinella, and thank you for watching Prof Football here on RTN Channel 5.
This has been a presentation of the Rowan Television Network.